how's it going, guys? Today we're actually having a very special guest to the channel. It's, no biggie, just the Hearthstone World Champion, Maxiebon. How's it going, Maxi?
Good. I'm ready to talk about my deck.
Yeah, really happy to have you here, man. Congrats on World Championship and everything. And yeah, this is your deck indeed. 40 OTK Druid, an absolute monster of a deck. Maybe the best deck in top 1000 Legend right now, more like top 100 Legend. I did show in the last top 5 how poorly people are doing with this thing. From Diamond to Legend, literally sub 50%, which is a damn shame, because the deck literally can't lose as long as you actually know how to play with it. So in this video, we're gonna try to give a quick guide about the deck, talk about the mulligans, the matchups, and everything you really need to be thinking about when piloting this thing. So yeah, if you're serious about Hearthstone, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and definitely check out Maxiebon's Twitch stream. He streams that's where you come in.
Well, I mean, I usually just stream after school, so 4 p.m. AST every day, basically.
Every day, damn, that's definitely a commitment. Alrighty, so yeah, definitely check Maxi. He streams Top Legend Standard, Top Legend Wild, you name it, he's got it. Now, let's check out the deck.
You are not prepared!
This is the deck. It's pretty strong right now. Like, no kidding, this thing is absolute powerhouse. And as long as you know how to pilot this thing well, it's very hard to lose unless you have a monstrous mulligan, like super bad stuff, and the opponent just burns you down before you can actually ramp enough, stabilize, and take it from there. We have a couple of innervates, pretty self-explanatory. You can ramp quickly with it. You can use them for a faster combo and stuff. All around, very nice card to have, so you can do a lot more than you're supposed to. Same can be said for Funnel Cake. It's one of the more skill-testing cards in the deck.
Yeah, for Funnel Cake especially, because like the interaction between Funnel Cake and Rising Waves is really interesting, where like a lot of the time what you'll do is you'll play a swipe to deal 1 damage to their minions, but it'll make a 3 health minion go down to 2, but then you'll use Funnel Cake to bring it back up to 3 health, so that the Rising Waves can full clear. So you should be aware of that, because that happens a lot of the time against
That's definitely a pretty interesting line. I've never actually saw that situation for me, but yeah, making yourself a better Rising Wave so it can deal that extra bit of damage, sometimes 3, sometimes just 2 if without spell power. It can definitely be pretty interesting with the Funnel Cake, and the Funnel Cake basically allows you to do your OTK a lot easier, because you do actually have to weave in a lot of mana on that turn with the Cover Artist, with Owlonious, all of that nonsense. The Funnel Cake really comes in with the clutch, especially if you have it down to 0 with Lifebinder's Gift, because that's just free real estate for you. Couple of Magic Dollhouses, again pretty self-explanatory. You have free charges on each of these. So you can definitely be pretty liberal with how you use the first couple of charges. Like, you could use it in the early turns just to get your bottomless toy chest action going. You could use it just to stabilize in the first few turns with bigger swipes, bigger waves, all of that kind of stuff. And obviously on the OTK turn, this is going to be very important to be active for you, because it just enables so much extra damage for you, even with just 1 or even 2 Owloniouses. It becomes really crazy really fast. We have a couple of Malfurion's Gift, great card for your mulligan. You want to be ramping with this more often than not, but it's also obviously an amazing way to get extra swipes, and in some very rare cases you could even just go for extra armor, so you can actually prevent the opponent from killing you before you've actually gathered some of your combo pieces. Couple of Sea Breeze Chalices in here as well. Don't mistake this as an integral card for your OTK game plan. Yes, this would be tons of damage if you actually have the spell damage idiots on the board already, but this is also a great way for you to be stabilizing somewhat in the early turns with a little bit of spell damage. And also, you could be getting extra copies of these with the help of Mista Vista. So don't be too scared of using these to stabilize your early game, so you can actually reach your monster mid-late game.
Yeah, I mean, for Chalice, like, the main thing is you want to try and play it immediately after Mista Vista, because it's just free 12 damage. And the thing with, like, Mista Vista is it lets you use all of your clears, like, way more loosely. Like, you don't need to save anything. And because the chalices are clears that don't just recast, but they come back to your hand, you can still use them for Owlonious. So, I mean, Chalice, you can dump it against things like Painlock and like Demon Hunter, but also like post Vista, you can still just dump them. Like, you don't need to save everything for the kill, especially now that we run Cover Artist. You only need like 1 or 2 spells after 2 Owlonious, and after 3 Owlonious, like, anything is lethal, so you don't need to be too careful withholding
Yeah,
cards from the
exactly.
combo.
That's the thing about decks like this. Even back in the day when I was first somewhat starting off being a Legend player, I still remember I was playing, what was it called? Malagos Druid back in the day. It was a
Oh yeah.
OTK deck, but I literally only played it as an OTK deck. And then that's what I think a lot of people are doing nowadays as well. Like, if it's an OTK deck, that's their only win condition. There is nothing else. You can't tempo with it. You can't kill him with just sheer tempo. And that's a very, very big mistake. Like, people play it super linearly, whereas they should be keeping an open mind, and they should know that even their combo pieces, even some of their core combo pieces, could actually be used in a way that doesn't close the game instantly, but it still leaves them with a good chance of actually winning. So that was a very big mind-blowing moment for me. I was actually co-oping with a Bulgarian pro player that back in the day. And he literally showed me how I can win in 5 more different ways than the one I was always trying to force. And I was actually liking that deck. I was actually climbing with that deck. And I was still only just trying to win with Malagos, copy Malagos, bunch of spell damage, and go face. And there were literally ways to actually close the game on turn 6, turn 7 if you just tempoed out a ton of stats. But enough about that. Just trying to show you how different you can play different decks.
Yeah, I've seen that with control players, which is a slightly different thing. But a lot of control players will think that like fatigue or like using disruption is the only way you win. And I see them like trade over and over and over, and they just never try and push for lethal. But you'll see at like the top ranks, control players like Meaty will always just like try and put you on a clock. Like I remember I was playing combo decks and Meaty was on 40 control, and he would set up like turn 7, turn 6 lethal with a control deck. Because if you really just like think about it, control decks are just like high health minions. Like a lot of those cards can actually be used to push, and it's the same thing with combo decks. You have things like ENR, Unkiliax. Like you have ways to actually win the game without just doing the combo. It's usually not as simple as that, especially with 40 cards. Like there's so much extra value in those 40 cards that you can find a way to win in a lot of different ways, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Like, people don't realize, but if you actually stick a minion on the board, that's like you paid mana for removal last turn, and now you have it on the board. The opponent actually has to not develop their board, but actually deal with your board. So yeah, control players definitely need to learn, especially against combo decks, that you need to pressure them. Like if you don't pressure them, they're just gonna gather their combo and kill you on turn 7. You haven't even reached your big payoff cards till then. So yeah, it's really, really important to know the different playstyles. If you're against aggro, by all means, clear the shit out of them, and they're just gonna run out of gas most of the time, at least. But if you're against combo decks, you really gotta be pushing them so they can't do whatever the hell they want. Just draw cards, ramp, and all of that nonsense. This is gonna be a 20-minute guide, I just know it. Okay, we have Bottomless Toy Chest next. This is a great card for you to use when you have your location, but a lot of people actually don't recognize you can use this without the location as well. Like, yeah, against the Control Warrior, even against the Control Warrior, you might just use this for a single of. Like, you literally have so much damage with this one. It's just a card, it's like tracking for Druids, with the added benefit of sometimes actually getting 2 of the card you really want. But in some cases, especially if you don't have your ramp, you're looking for a ramp in the early turns. That's what you're trying to do with this in the early turns.
Exactly. Yeah, I think you almost always dump it early, even against Warrior, because if you think about it, the most important cards to get in the early game are ramp. And you don't want 2 clusters. You don't need 2 Malfurion's Gift or 2 New Heights. Like, you just want to get it down as fast as possible. Because, like, let's say on turn 6, you draw your location, and now you can copy the New Heights with your toy chest. It's like you just wasted 3 turns of using that ramp. Whereas if you just played it early, you can get even like Mr. Vista against Warrior or Flower Child, or like there's so many hits that are just so much better if you get them early, right? So you don't need to worry about copying. And yeah, with 2 cover artists, like we're gonna be fine dealing. Even we can do up to 1,000 damage with this deck. Like
pretty much. Like, I was actually thinking about doing a showcase of how much damage you can actually do with this in a non-real game. But yeah, it literally goes insane. I actually made a little chart about quick maths for this deck because I was.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, because I was very bad at mathing. So yeah, here's a little quick chart with. Literally with free Owloniouses, which we have access to. Like, the 2 cover artists make that easy, and let's not forget you can also get lucky with the copies from the 2 mana cards. Just Well, let's talk about this, because you don't really realistically gain 4 plus extra spell damage with this one in particular, unless you get lucky with the double up again. But yeah,
Well, you can
free
use
Owlonious is 2 spell damage, and that's 40 plus a pop. So that would be like 42 damage per chalice, in total 106 per one of those. So yeah, really infinite damage for realistic standard games.
Something to note is that after your Vista, if you just use 1 copy of each of your 2 chalices, then you go from having 6 total chalices with the 3-2-1 and 3-2-1 to having 4 copies of the 2 left. So you have 8 total chalices. So if you like really want to greed it, you can deal like way too much damage, like probably more than like Il'gynoth Demon Hunter was doing back in the day, or like similar. Like it's absurd. So, like again, you do not need to worry about like holding on to burn, right?
Exactly. Yeah, what we're trying to say here, guys, is don't worry, you have damage. Don't be afraid to use your removal early to actually stabilize, to slow down the opponents. You can actually stabilize yourself and get yourself to the real turns. But yeah, bottomless toy chest. If you get in it early turns and you don't have your ramp, totally fine. Actually, absolutely advisable for you to actually to look for your ramp with this one without doubling up. If you can double up, it's kind of fine, but yeah, it could get clunky, because you actually are going to struggle a little bit with hand size in some of these games if you're not careful. So yeah, definitely not a bad idea to be looking for your ramp with this in the earlies, and obviously in the late game you're going to be looking for, I think the best card you get a second copy of would be the File, because it's so versatile, it's basically 0 mana extra damage. Another thing would be the cover artist, just straight up swipe, just straight up chalice. Heck, getting a couple of locations
in the early
can be
game,
massive.
Seedling is location, yeah, and I think Seedling, like on turn 2, the best thing you can double is Seedling, because it's one of those cards you want early that's not ramp. Like the ramp you don't really want extra copies of, but 2 Seedlings, especially if you get like Vista, can just like you just can't die basically, and you draw your whole deck.
Yeah, getting 5-10 armor, pretty good stuff indeed. We also have a couple of Livebinders gifts. 90% of the time you're going to be using this for discount, and be smart about what you're discounting. You don't want to just discount because it's glowing green. It's always going to glow green. It's a fucking green card. But you want to actually be discounting things like Funnel Cake, absolutely massive. Discounted File can be pretty nice. Discounted Swipe is okay. That kind of stuff. You don't want to just discount because you can do it. You want to discount because it allows you to actually do something faster next turn, like something faster on the OTK turn. That's how you want to be looking at this. And in some very rare cases, when you're really dead in the water, you might actually want to roll the dice and see what's in behind the 2 nature spells. But spoiler alert, most of them are absolute trash, and they're not even just druid spells. You're going to get some dumb shaman spells that don't help you much in most of the cases too. But if you're that desperate, it might be worth rolling the dice. Like if it's either that or die, might as well see what's behind door number 2.
Yeah, I would say only roll the dice if, like, basically only, maybe there's like edge cases, but you almost only ever pick nature spells if you're against aggro and you have no removal, because there are actual good hits. Like Aftershocks is extremely good with Dollhouse because it does the spell damage is tripled basically. So Aftershocks clears almost any board. Lightning Storm is decent. Crash of Thunder. So there are good removal spells, but like probably like 95% of the time, I would say something like that. Like almost every single time you want to use it for discount, and try and use it. Like you usually want to use it after your ramp, because playing Lifebinder's Gift on 2 to reduce, and then playing ramp on 3, you're floating 1 mana. It's not really a reduce. You usually want to go, for example, if you're on the coin, you would want to go, don't play Lifebinder's Gift on 2, ramp on turn 3, and then coin cluster. And then at that point, you've drawn 3 extra cards that you can now reduce. So by holding the gift, you can now use it for more important spells, like you said, File, Sleep Under the Stars as well. The cards that like you want to be at 6 mana, because with 1 location and an owl, your File will deal 6 damage, which means that your Sleep Under the Stars will cost 6 less. So you really want your sleep to cost 6. So stuff like that is like really important.
This way you can basically refresh yourself back to 9 and really go massive. So yeah, be smart about how you use this thing. If it allows you to do a faster crystal clutch, I'd say that's also kind of fine. But as you heard, you really want to be discounting the good stuff and just really be smart. A lot of the times people don't really focus. They just focus on the current turn and they don't focus on what this current turn actually allows them to do in the next few turns, and that's really, really important to set yourself up for success with this one, because it's a combo deck. Like with all combo decks, your early turns help you set up the combo turn faster, and that's what the difference between top Legend players and just Legend players is. People just need to learn to be efficient and to actually be setting themselves up for bigger, better, faster turns than the normal Legend player. We also have a couple of trail mixes in here. Absolutely massive card, allows you to ramp faster in the early turns, allows you to do obscene amounts of extra stuff on your combo turns as well. Like doing this on turn 3 allows you to do a turn 4 crystal cluster, which is absolutely brutal. And also doing this on the turn where next turn you're popping off with all of the damage could be absolutely massive as well. So be smart about this thing, and take a couple of seconds to actually map out how much mana this thing is gonna allow you to have the next turn, because it might not come super intuitively to you. Like if you're on turn 3 and you use this, don't forget you're also ramping next turn naturally, so you are up to 6 mana, so you can do a lot of crazy things. And something I learned the hard way with this one is if you do this on turn 7 and play INR on turn 8, after you refresh, you don't refresh the fucking Trail Mix mana, even though it specifically says it gives you 2 mana crystals, not just 2 mana. You cannot get back to 10 after that, so don't try to do INR on 8 and expect to play on Kiliax as well. You're not gonna be able to, and that really sucks, but yeah, it is supposed to work that way. I have talked to the devs, they said it's working as intended. Anything you want to add here?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing for Trail Mix is definitely the cluster or Mr. Vista or Flower Child. Getting those out early is important, because the early turns are where we struggle, because like if you see a lot of our bombs are pretty expensive, so Trail Mix just helps to mitigate that. But yeah, I think it's like it acts as like 2 coins, which yeah, it does seem kind of weird when it says mana crystals.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
it
yeah,
says the same
definitely be
thing on
careful with
Innervate now that I think about it. It literally should say give 1 mana. It's not a mana crystal, it's just mana. So it's kind of weird like that, but this is the world we live in, sadly. We also have a couple of Frost Lotus Seedlings. Super good card for your early turns. Like, you are going to be begging for that extra armor, and the card draw is also super important for you so you can find your ramp on time. Very massive to double up with Bottomless. Very good to be getting extra casts out of it from the Mr. Vista action. All around absolute staple of a card in the deck. Just be careful not to overdraw with it too much with the help of Mr. Vista. You really gotta be smart about how much card draw you actually use on those turns. And you also gotta actually make enough room so you don't accidentally burn your MVP, which is Owlonious, obviously. New Heights, really self-explanatory card. Really nice to have the above 10 mana limit crystals, and also just ramp is good, yo. You don't need me to tell you that.
Yeah, also for New Heights, remember that the crystal clusters will not summon minions. It'll just ramp you up to 13.
Yeah,
because I've seen people forget about that, and that's actually sometimes a big deal against Mage.
Yeah, it's a big deal, and sometimes you actually don't want to be ramping with it. You actually want to be summoning the idiots. So there are situations where you're on turn 9 and you have both New Heights and Crystal Cluster. Like, for instance, against the Mage, God knows you're gonna want to have a couple of 3/7 idiots on the board and then actually ramp with New Heights. Yes, you're losing out on a little ramp, but definitely a good idea to have yourself those 3/7s against his potential 3/6s, because that could be the difference between life and death. Another thing about New Heights is, in some cases, you want to coin out New Heights on turn 2. In other cases, if you literally don't have shit to do on next turn and the turn after, maybe it's a good idea just to hold on to the coin and actually help yourself do something faster after. A lot of the times I see people say always ramp when you have the coin. Heck, even when you have 2 coins, like turn 1 New Heights, could be smart, only if it actually allows you to do something in the next few turns, though. Because it's not going to help you hero power on turn 2 and turn 3, even if you have 5 mana, if you don't have anything else, might be just smarter to hold on to the coins and ramp a little bit naturally.
Especially because Cluster is our most important card. So usually you want to play New Heights on turn 3 and then have the coin available so that on turn 4, with the extra mana from New Heights and the coin, you can play Crystal Cluster. So usually you do not want to be coining out New Heights. The only time where you coin out New Heights is if you have like another ramp spell and then Seedling or something like that. Like it has to be a pretty, I would say around 80% of the time you're not coining it out. It has to be quite a specific hand for you to coin it out. I would say with this how this deck works.
Yeah, sounds about right. I think I was coining this a little bit myself, but only if I knew I'm gonna be doing actually something on the next turn, not just because I can do it this turn. Like turn 2, might as well just hero power this turn and save my coin and still just ramp this turn instead. So yeah, be smart about how you're wasting your coins. Don't waste your coins is what I'm trying to say. We also have Pendant of Earth. Absolutely amazing card to stabilize yourself. Like healing yourself for 10 mana is very nice, but another important thing with this one is you can actually fish for your Owlonious, you can fish for your Mista Vista, you can fish for Cover Artist, you can find yourself on Kiliax. Basically, you can find anything you're looking for. So again, this is like tracking, but it also heals you in the process, which is a little bit of a nice extra bonus.
Yeah,
don't always try to heal the max out of this. Actually think what you need. Like healing is nice, but if it actually prevents you from doing literally OTK next turn, maybe it's not such a bright idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say the main, like the big reason that Pendant is so good in the 40 card version is because our goal is to, as soon as we hit 10 mana, we want to have ENR and we want to have Cover Artist so that we can immediately go ENR, refresh, Cover Artist, draw, because that's our mid-game push that basically we win on board from the ENR and we fill our hand. And once we do that, we've basically won the game because we are ahead of our opponent in mana, we're ahead of them in cards, and we're ahead of them on board. It's really difficult to lose from that point. So the Pendant just really increases your consistency of getting ENR plus Cover Artist so much that it makes the deck basically function.
I gotta be honest, I literally have never done this. I have literally never done this play, which you say is the most important play of the deck. I have actually climbed a shit ton with this deck without knowing this crucial game plan. So yeah, world champion and this guy, kind of a big deal difference, isn't it? Yeah, this is apparently another very good thing to be doing. Like I knew second Cover Artist is not always for a second Owlonious. I was kind of leaning towards more yeah, you could copy your Titan, you could copy Kiliax, you could copy the opponent's Yogg or some shit like that, but I was never really thinking about INR refresh and actually Cover Artist draw the shit out of your deck. And I was actually struggling in some of the games to get some good card draw, and I was actually considering maybe adding that burnout bullshit. But as Maxi told me before we started recording, the burnout is just such a weird card to have in the deck because of this specific reason, because you can just draw so well with INR, and I was literally blind to this particular game plan. So that's why guys like this are so important to you guys. If you don't know about these game plans, you're never going to be looking for them. You could accidentally stumble upon them and then start using them. But if you've never seen this, if you've never thought about it, you're never actually going to actively try to be doing this yourself. So very useful information right here. We live, we learn. Even I'm learning as we speak. So very good stuff. We obviously have Prince Renatal. You want to be 40, get that extra 10 health is going to help you last long enough to do the good things. And honestly, it's also feeling quite nice to have the access to extra cards in this one. It's kind of hard to actually cut anything out of the deck, you know? Like, yeah, you could cut one of the Cover Artists, you could cut one of the, I don't know, Funnel Cake, something along those lines, but to cut 10 cards out of this feels really rough. Even though I think I did see Maxi run a 30 variant of something similar to this, but I think it didn't even have Owlonious, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so the 30 card, this was originally what led to this deck, is that like when I created the 30 card version and I hit rank 1 with that, and then that kind of became a thing. And so as soon as Renathal came out, I was like, okay, the 40 version of this makes sense. And the reason that 40 is so important with this like list is because you need to fit Pendant, ENR, Owl, Cover Artist. And those cards are all basically useless until you get to 10 mana. So having the 40 cards increase, like, it makes your mana curve more fluid. So actually having the 10 extra cards is literally a benefit in this deck. And then the 10 health is also really important because, again, we're almost doing nothing in the first, like, 4 turns of the game. We're just ramping.
Yeah.
So Renathal made this deck, like, even better. But yeah, once Renathal leaves, the 30-card version, it's quite a different list, but it's actually also really strong. I expect for that deck to be seen in Worlds coming up. I think that deck's going to be really cool. We'll see.
You've heard it here first, guys. Okay, so yeah, Renathal real cool, and yeah, sadly he is leaving in like what 10 days. So
yeah,
we are really giving you a lot of extra information for this deck that might actually not exist in a couple of weeks. But
well, that's the thing. The 30-card version will still most of this, like not the pendant ENR stuff, but most of the general, like how you're meant to play the deck, like holding onto gift, when to play your chess. That stuff will still matter a lot with the 30-card version because the only real, like the main difference is you cut the pendants, ENR, Cover Artist stuff, and cluster, and you run burn downs, and it's more of a like cycle efficient deck because you don't have that extra time from the Renathal. But at the end of the day, those decks are actually pretty similar. But yeah, maybe you'll make a video once Renathal leaves on the 30-card version as well.
Perhaps if I'm smart enough, or if you join again, for sure.
I'm happy to, for sure.
And glad to have you, man. Okay, we also have Rising Waves, very, very nice card to actually stabilize against the early game of a lot of aggressive opponents. And like you heard Maxi talk about some next level tips with the funnel cake, you could actually be using funnel cake to set yourself up for the second tick out of the Rising Wave, because if something dies on the first pop, it's not going to have a second pop. You could be abusing it with things like Magic Doghouse, and you could also actually use this first in order to have yourself a free phase damage with the help of Seabreeze Chalice. I think I did actually win one of the games against the Hunter, if I'm not mistaken, where we literally didn't even get to play Owlonious. I just tempoed the shit out of him, and he just couldn't stabilize because single spell damage location led me to have the free damage AoE Rising Wave, and then I just blasted his mouth with like 5 Seabreeze Chalices, and that was enough.
I should also say Waves is very good against mages, and it's one of the main reasons this deck is stomping mages, like when you learn to play it, because one Waves of the location deals with Tsunami like completely, and then you can just spend the rest of your turn doing other stuff. And if you played a Vista first, then the next turn they play another Tsunami, and then at the start of your turn you cast a free Waves off of your Vista, which deals 4 more damage, and then all you need is like a location and a swipe. Like this card like crushes mages. It's really, really good.
Yeah, it's really nice card indeed. We also have the Sparkling File. You could actually get creative with this thing. It's basically free damage for you, but also don't sleep on the fact this is free mana for you. Like, if you put down Owlonious, Cover Artist, and Location, you actually still have mana to play Sparkling File. That's tons of damage. You smash this thing into the face, and you literally get to play 0 mana INR that way, refresh your mana once again, and really do some obscene things. So it's a very, very creative card. Like I said, an amazing thing to get out of the bottomless toy chest. And yeah, it's one of the 2 damaging spells you need to actually kill most opponents in most cases, and this one literally allows it to play 0 mana swipe right after. So it's very, very... Usually this is one of your OTK spells. Like, a lot of the times this is going to be what gets you over the top.
I'll also add real quick that File, you should also remember for Vista, it's basically like a trail mix. Like, if you have 1 turn left on your Vista and you play a File, then the next turn, the first card you play will cost 2 less. So, like, think about that. If your Vista's about to tick over and you need extra mana, then you can actually just dump a File and it will give you that extra mana. It doesn't happen often, but it's a small thing that you should be aware of as well. And also, one more thing, it doesn't work against Divine Shield. So if you're playing against a Paladin that played a Divine Brew on their hero, I've lost to this 3 times because I keep forgetting if you shoot their hero, the discount will not happen because it didn't actually deal any damage because of the Divine Shield. So keep that in mind as well, because Paladin's pretty popular right now.
Yeah, that can definitely be messy. But yeah, I was never thinking about the Mista Vista play, actually. Honestly, I haven't been thinking about a lot of Mista Vista things. Noticing from our little chat here, I have not been abusing this guy to the fullest for sure. But yeah, definitely File, a very, very nice card.
I call the deck Vista Druid, by the way.
Oh, really?
At least the 30-card version.
Because
the 30-card version didn't run Owlonious. The 30-card version didn't run Owlonious originally. So Vista was like your win condition. You just play Vista Vista, and you play a bunch of Chalices, and that was lethal. This version, of course, we have like more minion. We're a little more minion focused, so we have other stuff to do. But Vista can definitely just win you a game. That card is crazy.
Yeah, it can really do a lot now, can't it? Okay, we also have a couple of swipes. Very nice board clear for you. Tons of damage for the late game. And this actually allows you, like, if you only have swipe and chalice, swiping first obviously clears the board as well, because if you have, 2 Owloniouses, 0 spell damage, that's gonna be 9 AoE damage straight up. If you have the spell damage, obviously, it's going to be a lot more, up to 12. And that way you have a clear board and you can just start smashing Seabreeze to the mouth. That is a very viable win condition in most cases. But again, do not be afraid to be using this to be stabilizing in the early turns. It is definitely not an integral part of the OTK. It's just one of your ways to kill opponents later. And let's not forget, you can also use Malfurion's Gift for extra swipes like that. Definitely a viable option. We have a couple of cover artists. A very, very flexible card. Like I said, obviously the normal way to use this would be on your Owlonious, and that doubles up. Like, don't forget, Owlonious has spell damage on himself. So even a single Owlonious, that is 2 damage. 2 Owloniouses, that's 2 spell damage doubled once more. So that's 8 damage like that, and so on and so forth. But also, as you saw, Maxi is thinking a few steps ahead, not just one. You can also slap this on your INR and literally draw the shit out of your deck. Like, the thing is, once you use INR, you refresh your mana, and you're left with only 2 other abilities on your Titan, but you can actually use those abilities right now. You literally just slap Cover Artist on it, and you can use INR again. But this time you use it for the draw cards, and that is just massive amounts of tempo, massive amounts of steam for you, and in some cases you literally kill the opponent that turn that way, because life can happen, like if you're above 13 mana or some shit like that, something crazy.
As well.
It can literally just draw you everything you need. And of course, you could be using this for all sorts of other things, like your own Ankyliax, the opponent's Yogg, the opponent's Ankyliax, that kind of stuff. You could be stealing opponent's Titans that way. Not stealing, but copying. You get the picture, but again, don't forget you're copying what's left on those Titans, not the full extent. Anything you want to add here?
Oh, that's also one thing to note. Yeah. So I've won a game off of this. Against Mage, they'll play a Norganon. They'll make their cards cost 1 more, and then what you can do is just pendant out a Cover Artist, and then next turn they make 2 secrets, copy it, maybe copy it twice, you just kill them. I've actually killed a Mage from just copying their 20 damage Titan before. And it feels good, because I hate Norganon so much.
Yeah, you could even just bait out the Mage that way. You literally could bait him out, like leave the Norganon, pretend you couldn't deal with it, allow him to cast 2 secrets turn after, and then just double Cover Artist for 40 damage like that. Insane. Or you could literally, you could actually double copy a single Norganon and deal 20 with it, even though you're probably not in lethal range on those turns, but it is definitely something to note, like if you're against a 30 Mage.
Yeah, 30, exactly. If they're 30, because there's a lot of 30, I think, at lower ranks as well, because it's cheaper to build. So, like, when 30 is popular, then the Cover Artist gets even better against Norganon, because all you need is, like, a swipe and a Cover Artist, and they're just dead. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, but again, it's something you need to actually be aware of. Like, if you have 2 Cover Artists, the opponent played their Titan, you use Cover Artist first on theirs, and you get to use the smaller, the useless ability, and then you copy your own copy, and that gets to use the 20 damage straight up like that, which could be huge in some cases. Okay, enough theoreticals. Talking about Mr. Vista now. He is obviously allowing you to include all the mage stuff, but also you could get tons of extra resources out of this guy, tons of extra card draw, and tons of extra random stuff in some cases, like if you're desperate enough to be playing your Sleep Under the Stars while you're on Mr. Vista's side quest, you might end up burning yourself big time, because this thing is not going to repeat what you used it for. It's going to repeat whatever the hell it wants. Doesn't care what you chose. It could literally refresh 3 times for you. It can literally draw you 6 cards, and in most cases that's going to be hell of a burn. So be careful with that combination, and be smart about the spells you're playing during the Mr. Vista shenanigans, because you don't want to be overdrawing a lot with this deck, like at all, especially if you don't have Owlonious, because it's, some might say, your win condition. Obvious great thing to be doing during Mista Vista would be to pop open a Seabriss Chalice or two, but usually just one is enough, because if you pop two, you're not going to have room for plenty of extra stuff. Like, you've probably also wanted to use something like Frost Lotus, maybe you wanted to use a bottomless toy chest, that kind of deal. So it is going to come down to being good at managing your hand size when you are under the side quest, so be careful about that. Like Maxi said, finishing off with a Sparkling File could be absolutely insane, like literally -2 for the next turn. Could allow you to do something bigger, like if you go turn 4 Mista Vista and you fit in File in there, that could allow you to do a turn 8 INR or something crazy like that, so be on the lookout for that. But obviously we're talking about a game where you literally didn't ramp at all now, aren't we? I'm pretty sure you also have some other scenarios to include in here, right?
Yeah, so for sleep, when I was first playing this deck, like the 30 card version, I would just use my sleep to draw cards, and then the Vista kept just killing me. So if you're gonna play a sleep, which I don't mind, because, I mean, you can actually mill Owlonious and win, as long as you're not against Warrior. Like, with 2 locations and some chalices, you can still win, especially because the Vista pushes some damage. So I don't mind playing sleep while you have Vista, but if you do, you want to usually go for armor or refresh. Almost never use sleep for draw. When you're under a Vista, unless you need removal that turn or something like that. You almost always use it for armor and refresh, because you expect that the Vista will use it to draw you cards later on, right?
Exactly. Yeah, so if you are going to be using this, be ready to burn, and be ready to have a plan B, because Owlonious might be no longer. We also
and also, I will say, you can get to like 22 mana, which is kind of funny. If you use Vista, if you save your New Heights. Like, so for example, if you have Malfurion's Gift, New Heights, and Vista in your hand, which has happened to be a couple times, you want to use the Malfurion's Gift for ramp on turn 3. So that way you can play the Vista on 4, and then once you're already under a Vista, you play the New Heights after. Because then you can get to absurd amounts of mana, and you no longer need to save your files or your funnel cakes for your Owl turn, because you just have enough mana to just kill them from hand.
Yeah,
which
you have enough mana to kill them 3 times, more like it. Yeah, if we're going in theoreticals, you could literally even do so much more, because if bottomless toy chest, God forbid, hits your New Heights twice,
you
and you actually spam those during the Mista Vista, that would be absolutely insane. But yeah, 20 plus mana, a guff is that you kind of deal, basically. We also have a single copy of Summerflower Child, and she is super good in the deck, because she allows you to get the really important stuff, and sometimes even cheaper, like 6 mana Owlonious, 5 mana Crystal Cluster, and more importantly, 6 mana Sleep Under the Stars, 8 mana Kiliax, and 9 INR could be also pretty huge. But yeah, having yourself a 6 mana Sleep Under the Stars, definitely Maxi should talk about this. He did explain to me how you could do absolute massive things with this with the help of the refreshes. Like with INR refresh mana, cover artist, and then you're left with 6 mana unless you've ramped with New Heights. And that 6 mana could allow you to weave in the Sleep Under the Stars to heal back to fill back the 9, or just to draw a bunch and refresh some and OTK from there somehow. So yeah, Sleep Under the Stars can also be pretty massive that way with the help of Summerflower Child.
Yeah, I'll say, like, the only reason we don't run 2 Flower Child, it's a little clunky, but also because Flower Child's usually not your goal off a pendant, so you want to make sure that you have as little minions as possible, so the pendant is likely to hit your ENR or your Owl or your cover artist when you need them. But yeah, Flower Child getting your 6 mana sleep is really nice, letting you cheat out an ENR. Also, like, if you have coin Flower Child, you really want to do that, because then you can get a cluster for turn 5. So Flower Child, like, it draws your most important cards at the perfect time on turn 5, like right before you're going into those big turns. So Flower Child definitely really important for this deck.
Exactly. But yeah, indeed, 2 might feel a little bit too clunky, even though I feel like lesser skill players might actually find this a bit better. Definitely gives them something to look forward to in the mid game, where if you don't get your ramp, at least you get this, which gives you the ramp, and also it's just super consistent at finding you the important stuff later on as well. We obviously also have a couple of Crystal Clusters, super quick ramp for you. Like, you're not doing much on those turns anyway, so getting yourself up to 10 mana quickly is very crucial for this deck, so you can really do your big boy turns faster. Don't forget, you can also use this for taunts, and don't forget account for played new highs before, because in one of the games I was actually very happy to get taunts out of this, but I knew I already played new heights, so I knew I was not getting any of that. Fun fact, by the way, the game does not show you that you've played new heights. Like, it still shows you 10 out of 10 later. No matter, not gonna show it now.
Yeah,
but
they only have 10 mana crystals
yeah,
available.
it's kind of baity like that, because I literally knew I had new highs, but the game was saying 10 out of 10. Fine, I'll fucking play it. I don't have anything else to do anyway. I'll just try my luck, but I'm pretty sure it ain't giving me shit. And yeah, it didn't give me shit. It just ramped me up to 13, as I knew. So yeah, be aware of the taunts. The taunts against Mage, absolutely crucial, because this thing stalls out water elementals perfectly. And Mages really hate this one simple trick. We also have Owlonious. Really monster of a card. I think I'm saying this for all of these cards, but it's a monster of a deck, what can I tell you? Definitely take a screenshot out of this thing so you can really quick math with it. It's really helpful to just at the glance of an eye have these breakpoints so you know how much damage you need. Just make sure to understand what I'm actually writing here. This is Owlonious plus its own spell damage. And this is extra spell damage. So yeah, one Owlonious has +1 spell damage on his own, but I'm still considering it 0 plus spell damage. So 1 alone is 2 damage, 2 is 8, 3 is 24, and when you start weaving in the extra spell damage from locations, it becomes really nutty really fast. Okay, he is your win condition in 90% of the games, but even if you burn it, even if you actually get stabilized somehow, if you went for an OTK turn, but it wasn't quite OTK, it was just clearing the board and leaving the opponent super low and they actually deal with it, you can still actually close the game, but it's just gonna have to be a little bit more bare bone with the help of locations, with the help of all of your damaging spells. As long as you haven't used all of them to stabilize beforehand, you still actually have some mean punch left in you. And you could also build some whiteboards with the help of Ionar afterwards, so you're not absolutely dead in the water if you lose your Owlonious, but you're definitely not going to be very happy to do so.
Also, with Vista, you can push some extra damage like late in the game. Like if you can use, like if you burn your Owlonious, but then you use Ionar coverage to draw the entire deck, like with 2 locations and a Mr. Vista, so like 3 chalices, because you can double dip. You can use the locations on the chalices you play, and then once they come back from the Vista, you can use your locations again. So that's like a lot of damage. You can still deal up to like 60 damage without Owlonious. It just needs you to have more cards, so it just takes a while to get to that point. So you do rely on Owlonious a lot, for sure.
And about Mr. Vista, he is targeting randomly, right? As long as the spell can target randomly. Like things like File, for instance, can go on your own stuff.
Yeah, luckily the swipe actually says
yeah,
enemy,
swipe is enemies, indeed.
The only one that is you can't target is the File, because of course Chalice says random enemy, swipe says enemy, so most of the time it's fine. Like, and if you play waves in your Vista, you can give yourself way for the Chalices to go face as well, which is pretty useful.
True. Okay, we also have Sleep Under the Stars, very flexible cards. In some cases, you don't play this on curve. You actually try and make some good amount of room in your hand the turn before, so you can really draw deep. Like, the deck is very dependent on actually drawing well. So if you've actually blocked yourself in a corner, like if you have something like double swipe, double chalice, double, I don't know, Lifebinder's Gift, and the Sleep Under the Stars, maybe it's a good idea to start throwing some of that to the opponent's face so you can make room for some really good draw turn that turn, so you can get your really important cards, like maybe waste a swipe, maybe waste 2, heck, and really get yourself that extra room in your hand so you can cycle through faster. If the swipes are actually also helping you stabilize that turn, that would be hands down a lot better than just holding on for a potential OTK later. But in other cases, you just draw a couple of cards, refresh twice, and do something else that turn, because a lot of opponents are not going to give you the luxury of just drawing willy-nilly on your entire turn. And don't forget, you can also use this for extra armor, because that is going to buy you some extra time.
I will also say sleep is an important piece. Not all the time if you've played New Heights, but a lot of the time you want to hold your sleep so that you can use Owlonious, Location, and File, and then use the sleep to get all your mana back, and then go Cover Artist. Because if you only have Owlonious, Cover Artist, and File, that uses all of your mana. So having the sleep available to refresh 9 with the File makes it a lot easier for you to kill on the Owlonious turns. So sometimes you'll have a sleep, and you'll be like, oh, I can just play it. Or I can wait a turn, play this Trail Mix, and then next turn I'll have Lethal, because I can use my sleep with the Owlonious to get enough mana to play basically all the burn in my hand, right? So be aware of that as well. Don't just dump it. If your hand is near an OTK, you can hold it instead.
Yeah, definitely could allow you to do some crazy things, and File is the big MVP in that play, because a lot of people are just gonna dish out all of their spell damage they can and then start blasting with the spells, but this thing is mana cheats as much as it's a damage cheat, so be very smart about how you actually use this thing. It does indeed allow you to basically refresh back to 9 mana with the help of sleep that way. We also have Ankylliax in here. He's the Virus plus Perfect module. Very, very nice. And the reason why this is Ankylliax is mages are not going to be able to reverb this, but also you're going to be able to cover artist this, and this could be literally your game plan against aggressive decks. Like, if you manage to do this against aggressive decks, they're just dead. They can't recover from most of this Ankylliax stuff. So that definitely is a pretty nice combo for the Zilliax. Obviously, the summon a copy plus 6/5 Divine Shield is not bad as well, but it doesn't allow you to do the cover artist. It's susceptible to reverbs and shit. But on the other hand, it is going to be a little bit more tempo. But we're not exactly about the tempo with this one. We're more about stabilizing so we can do the real stuff.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say, is that, like, people ask me why I don't run the 6/5 because it's so prevalent. Like, most people are running 6/5, but that's because of the fact that it gives you 12 damage on the board. We don't care at all about 12 damage on the board. All we want is for this to be a 1 card, clear the board, heal to full. And that's basically always what it does. You can't reverb it. It's really good into Tsunami, destroys Tsunami really hard.
Yeah.
And yeah, against like aggressive decks, you pen in this out plus 10, you play a Trail Mix, and then next turn you innovate it out, like deck conceding basically. It really is a 1 card win condition a lot of the time, and can buy you like 2-3 turns by itself. Like, it's a very good control tool, especially when we have so many ways to get it out, like 3-4 turns earlier than it should be played, right?
Yeah, it's really quite the card indeed. No wonder it's got nerfed like 5 times already. But yeah, Ankylliax is absolutely massive. And lastly, we have INR. Usually what you're doing with INR, you drop it, you refresh your mana, give yourself an extra 5/5, and then do whatever the hell you want. But obviously, you can also do something a lot more, like we said with Maxi already. INR into refresh, cover artist, draw the rest of your deck. That's literally, nobody recovers from that, and you're still left with 6 mana more to do extra broken things that turn. Would be really brutal. Like, heck, you could even find yourself another cover artist and heal back to full if you're struggling for life in the single digits. Could be the winning play. And don't forget, this also gave you like free 5/5s on the board. So not only did the opponent lose all of that ground on your face, he also has to recover on the board somehow. So that literally buys you at least a turn or two. Anything else you want to add for the Titan?
Yeah, well, definitely sometimes think about using the first cover artist just to heal to full. Like, sometimes against mage, you'll be in a situation where you think they're going to play Projection Orb or a Volley, and you just want to make sure you can't die. If you just go ENR refresh, copy, heal to full, you've made a big board, you're on full health. If you already have something like Sleep Under the Stars, or Flower Child, or a Vista up, then you're going to be fine for cards, and you just want to make sure that you have the time. But definitely majority of the time you want to be using ENR, refresh, cover artist, draw the deck, and then from there you're in a like winning position almost always. Right?
Yeah, indeed. Okay, so that's about the cards. All around, quick game plan for the deck. How what you're doing in the first few turns. You just want to ramp. You want to draw. Then in the mid game, maybe you get your Mista Vista in. Double up some of your stuff. And obviously in the late game, you start thinking about some of that Owlonious action, some of that OTK, or just stabilizing with Ankylliax, INR, that kind of deal. Yeah, it's definitely not a simple deck, and God knows we probably made it even a lot more harder for you to to really try this deck out. Like hearing all of these 5-hat plays out of Maxi really makes me question why the fuck did I play this. I was probably embarrassing myself, but yeah, I still actually managed to win a lot with this. So the
Yeah,
skill
that's a
cap
good
is
thing.
high, but it's actually more forgiving than what one might think.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is that like for a deck like this with the 40 card version, the skill cap is really high. I think it's probably one of the hardest decks of all time to play perfectly. But the floor is actually quite forgiving. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a mid floor. You can play this deck pretty bad, but as long as you're aware of the fact that you want to be getting the ENR and the Unkiliax down, you want to be ramping early. Those plays are so powerful, those late game plays, that even if you missed a couple mana, you missed a couple damage, it was lethal here. As long as you're doing the ramp into the big plays, it's going to be good enough to win a lot of the time anyway. So like, I wouldn't be too scared, even though this is kind of an overwhelming like amount of decisions you have to make. A lot of the time, you'll make a mistake and then you'll know for next time and you'll win the game anyway. So I wouldn't be too worried about how difficult this deck looks to play. Right?
You definitely don't need to be playing this deck perfectly in order to be climbing with it, but you can definitely be botching the shit out of it, as the stats show. Like, look at these stats. It's not even funny how poorly people are performing with this thing right now. It's okay, surprisingly better stats now. Maybe from the guide. I don't know. Probably not.
But, it's gonna double. It's gonna go to 70% win rate after this video.
Oh, for sure. Nerf went Blizzard. Oh shit, it is exactly the same deck. I literally did the top 5 of this thing yesterday and it was literally at 48% yesterday, not even kidding. Okay, matchups time. We don't have any stats for this thing, so we're gonna have to rely on Maxi's intuition here and Maxi's experience. He has played plenty of the deck, so he knows what is good against it, what's bad against it. So Maxi, you're up.
Yeah, so the reason that I really wanted to play this deck and the reason I kept playing it is because I hate Mage and this deck is very good against Mage.
Yeah, fuck Mage in particular.
And in fact, yeah, before the nerfs, it was like the only deck that beat Mage. It was like I had 65% win rate against Mage. Nothing else I played beat it. Like, it is the deck to play if you want to beat Mage. It takes a little bit of learning because the Mage games take a little while and you need to be aware of like resource management. But yeah, Mage is a good matchup for sure. And aggro matchups are pretty good. Demon Hunter is like pretty free. You just need to make sure that you have location and swipe or just a waves, and use chalices for removal. You don't care at all about the combo against Demon Hunter because they'll concede to Unkiliax. You'll play an Unkiliax, they're gone. ANR cover artists, they concede. They can't do anything about it. So against Demon Hunter, you don't want to keep cluster or anything. You just want to go for the early removal. Same thing against Shaman. It's a little tougher because they can wave your Ziliax as well. So against Shaman, I would say it's actually a close matchup. For me, like at top ranks, it's a little bit favored for Druid, but I would say in general, for most people, it would be a little bit unfavored for the Druid. I'm trying to think like Painlock. If you're good at playing against Painlock, it's pretty free. You just want to make sure that you have enough burn to kill them while also controlling the board. So you want to hold onto your swipes, you want to play waves instead of swipe, and then make sure that when they go to 8 health to play their Molten Giants, they die. And that's pretty easy to do.
That's exactly what I did against those Painlocks. Yeah, it's really important to be keeping them in check.
Fatigue Lock, also pretty a great matchup actually, because all you do is you're on 40 health.
Now is a non-existent matchup, more like
I guess. I mean, some people still play it, I would say, but yeah, I mean, not at high ranks, but like people who like the deck, I'm sure it still has an okay win rate. Like
no, it's literally deleted.
Ranks.
It's literally under 50 now.
I've played against it like twice.
Here's a 51. Okay, but look at this 35. God almighty,
if you play against it, you basically just ignore the board, hold your waves for... Waves destroys Conductor, by the way, because their early game is Baritone Imp, which is 3 health. So even with Baritone Imp, the wave still does 4 damage. So you don't even need location. Waves just destroys a Conductor board, and then you go ENR refresh. Full heal. Usually don't draw you full heal against Fatigue, and they lose. Warrior is very free, except Reno Warrior can play Boom Boss. Against Reno Warrior, what you want to do, this is a little bit complicated, but you want to use Vista to fill your hand with chalices to set up lethal, and then make sure you always have a full hand and you can't lose to Boom Boss. But I mean, Warrior can always scam you. They can rat your owl, they can Boom Boss your owl, whatever. So you can always lose, and the TNT blows up your location, which is kind of rough. But I would say in general, Warrior is a fine to good matchup. Odin Warrior is completely free because you can wait until you get 3 owls and you just instantly win. Trying to think what other decks I play against, but I think that's most of the meta. Can you see anything that I'm missing? I guess Paladin.
Hunters,
Paladin is
maybe.
actually
Yeah, Paladins and
Paladin. I
Hunters have
forgot.
been rising.
Paladin is I would say for me, I am. Let me check my stats real quick. I am against Paladin. I'm 50% against. Yeah, 50%. That's what I was gonna say. So if you're
only you hero power
good,
the Divine Shield, am I right?
bro. Oh, okay. That was a while ago. That was the 30 card. I've learned.
Yeah.
But yeah. So against Paladin, if you're good at the deck, it's 50%. So that means that it's probably going to be a pretty bad matchup for most people. The idea is that you almost ignore the board completely against Paladin. You ignore the board and you work on your own game plan. You use sleep to gain armor. You use seedlings to gain armor, and then you just go for your owl game plan or Unkiliacs. Like you want to use ENR won't actually swing the board against Paladin because they have Armitis and Unkiliacs. So you use ENR to just full heal or draw the deck more as a defensive tool. And then you just want to play your ramp and set up lethal and hope that they can't kill you fast enough. But that matchup is pretty tough. I would say that's like the bad matchup, and Paladin's pretty popular right now, so I'm a little worried about that. But basically every other matchup is positive. The only other bad matchup, which unless you're literally top 100 or top 50 more like, you will never see it, but it's like Sonya, Grifter, Robo Rogue with Gaslight Gatekeeper, Playhouse Giants, and Stomper. That is an unfavored matchup. I'm not even going to go into it because no one even knows what that is. But the Shafar Rogue is a favored matchup for Druid. It's the kind of same thing. You ignore the board until Unkiliacs, and Unkiliacs will buy you 1 or 2 turns. And again, you just kill them from hand. ENR will also buy you a turn because you get 2 or 3 taunt minions, which can pretty easily get in the way. So against Rogue, it's the same thing. Ignore the board, set up your combo as fast as possible, and this deck usually kills on average turn 7. Turn 7, turn 8 is your average kill, and that's definitely fast enough to beat rogues. So yeah, basically the only real bad matchup is Paladin, and then this guy who was trying to stream snipe me. That's basically the only bad matchup. So the deck is absurd right now. I would say it's like tier 1 or tier 0, even like stupidly broken. Like if Worlds happened right now, Druid would be banned for every single match. Like it's not even close. There's no deck that is actually great against it. My worst matchup is 50% against Paladin. Hunter, I forgot about Hunter because I don't play against Hunter. But I'm sure it's a good matchup. I mean, you just use your removal early game, and then they'll concede to an ENR.
Yeah, I think I faced a couple of Druids when I was playing this new Breakfast Hunter. Like even turn 5, double Mukle, I think I did. They still fucking stabilized. They still fucking Unkiliaxed me, and you're just dead on the water there.
Yeah, you just ignore the ball, because Hunters actually don't kill you that fast right now. They're more mid-rangey, so you have time to just play a ramp. And then, again, Hunter's going to concede to an ENR. They can't do anything about ENR cover artist. They're gone. So it's pretty similar strategy all around, and that's why this deck has a pretty mid-ceiling, because as long as you're aware of the general game plan, you can make mistakes on the combo turns, but you're so far ahead at that point that you'll still be okay. So yeah, I think this deck's definitely the best deck to pick up right now. And again, it's going to exist once Renathal leaves, just in a slightly different form in the 30-card version.
No Owlonious, I presume?
I actually run Owlonious now in 30 card.
Really?
We used to Cheer Drake, but now we run Owl. We just don't run the ENR pendant stuff. We run Burn Downs and more Cycle instead to just try and kill on turn 5 and 6 instead of 7 and 8 because we don't have the extra time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think we've gone through the popular matches. Maybe Death Knight if you've managed to face any of those.
Oh, yeah. I haven't lost to a Death Knight with this deck in like years. I think my total stats, if you look at my 30-card version as well, is around 13-1 against Death Knight.
Yeah, game plan is basically stall them till you can OTK them.
I mean, the whole point of Death Knight is that their boards are unclearable, and they're good at clearing your boards. I don't make a board. I ignore everything they do. I play an ENR, and their Resta costs 1 million because I never played a minion the whole game. and then I just kill them from hand. Like it's so free. People will say like, I've sseen people say, "Oh, Helia will win the matchup," but it's like, no. Once you play ENR, they're conceding, they're gone. There's nothing they can do. So yeah, stomps everything basically except power. There are a couple like close matchups, but definitely favored against like large majority of the field right now.
I actually managed to lose against Handbuff Pally. We are gonna go over that game at the end, but it's all around really solid deck right now. Okay, let's look at the mulligans. We're gonna be seeing what people have been keeping. It's gonna be pretty close, I'm assuming, to what we talk about. But yeah, like I said in the early turns, you're looking for the ramp. You're looking for the card draw. The Frost Lotus is insanely good. The Malfurion's Gift is decent. Would you actually hold on to Malfurion if you already have New Heights?
Yeah, so
we're talking about going first here.
Going first, I don't think I would keep double ramp because you have 2 5-drops in your deck, and they're both extremely important to play on turn 5. So if you either have a Flower Child or a Vista, you're never playing the second ramp until like way later in the game, especially if it's a Flower Child. Because let's say you have turn 3 ramp, turn 4 Flower Child, you're playing a cluster, you're never playing that second ramp spell, so it's a waste. So no, I wouldn't keep 2 ramps on the play, I would keep them on the coin, but that's different.
Exactly. Okay, going first, people are also holding on to the Summer Flower Child. I think you can hold on to that when you already have New Heights, am I right?
I would only keep Flower Child if I have a ramp, and I'm against either Warrior, Death Knight, or Druid, where you have the time to play it. If I'm against like Rogue, I don't want to keep Flower Child, it's too awkward. If I'm against Demon Hunter, I'm not keeping Flower Child, it's too awkward. Shaman, again, same thing, especially because Shaman has Cookie. Like, if you play a Flower Child, they're like, oh, thanks, now I get to double the size of my board. So Flower Child, I think, is a little bit situational. Especially in the mulligan, because you'd always rather have a cluster. It's more like an alternative, not your main goal, right?
Yeah. But yeah, the Crystal Cluster is also pretty high up there. I guess you can hold on to that. Never keep it.
Like, I would never keep it unless I would have to have ramp, and against Warriors, no, I don't think.
If you already have New Heights,
I would have to have ramp and a coin or something like that. Even if I have ramp, I'm not going to keep cluster. If I have ramp and a coin, then I'll keep cluster. Yeah, maybe I'm pretty sure I don't. I'm trying to envision like a mulligan in my head. No, I wouldn't. Like, basically, so I don't know about you, but cards will kind of like glow green if, like, in my head, if they're good. And the cluster looks really ugly if you have just a ramp and you're on the play. It looks terrible. I would never keep that. Never keep that. It just doesn't make sense because you would play it on like turn 5. Yeah, but that's so slow. I'd rather find my. And here's the thing with Druid decks right now is that every card in the mulligan that's not Seedling has a little bit of text that says your Seedling takes 1 more turn to flourish. So every card that's like not great, you don't want to keep because Seedling's so important.
Okay, we are learning indeed. But yeah, apparently people have been holding on to the cluster quite a lot. What the hell, fucking Microsoft.
It's great on the draw, but not on the play.
Yeah, but mulligan win rate is absolute dog shit here. Don't pay attention to that. So we're just going to be looking at what people are holding on to themselves. So yeah, apparently Crystal Cluster, not the best thing you could be hoping for. The location is fine.
I always keep location no matter what, yeah.
Even against Warrior?
Yep.
I guess against Warrior you can still get lucky with the double up if you get that early.
Yeah, and also just because you want the hand space, which is actually quite important. It's either really good to help you get removal, or it's an extra hand space against Warrior where, I mean, you're going to fill your hand at some point, so having that extra card down is nice. Just have it down. And yeah,
in some cases I even actually dabble a bit in the little bluff situation where you pretend not to be the Dollhouse Druid for a while. Like, I literally hold on to my location on turn 1 even though it's glowing green. Just because I know people on my rank still expect it to be either Highlander or something else. And just try to hide the fact a little bit longer. I might be lying to myself that it gives me a little bit of an edge, but it is something to think about. And usually I find the time to slap it on the board later on anyway. So no harm, I guess. But yeah, against aggressive decks, God knows he slapped this on one and never looked back. Okay, Mr. Vista is also up there, and people are holding out the bottomless toy chest a lot. I think I would hold on to this, especially if I don't have the ramp, so I can actually look for the ramp. Probably no matter the matchup.
So, okay, I'm going to say Mr. Vista first, which is the same thing as Flower Child, I think, yeah, it's basically the same thing. Like, I would keep Vista if I have ramp and it's in X matchups, basically. Although I would keep Vista on its own against Warrior, but that's the only one, and that's like very specific, and only on the play. But yeah, Vista I would not keep that often at all. But
Yeah, I
Toy
also found
Chest,
myself always throwing him, honestly.
yeah. Toy Chest is one of those cards that in the 30 version you don't keep on its own, but in the 40 version, ramp is so important. Like, you
Yeah.
need ramp on turn 3, because if you don't have ramp on turn 3, then you can't ramp on turn 4 or 5 with your cluster, and then it all snowballs. So
Exactly.
Toy Chest is actually a keep no matter what on the play. Even if you have ramp, it's still a keep, because once you have acquired ramp, then you want to find cluster or flower child or Vista. So it's always really important, and there's no 2-drops in this deck. The only reason you actually don't keep Toy Chest in the 30 card is because of Seedling, because it's a card that's not Seedling. And so that kind of like lowers its value. But yeah, it's really good to keep in 40 card, even without location. Sure.
Yeah, bottomless torches, like we said, it's basically like tracking, which, now that I say it, you don't keep tracking as a hunter, but then again, we are not a hunter, we're a deck that really
We would keep
relies on
tracking,
ramping really early, so getting yourself basically a second mulligan phase, pretty good stuff like that. And trail mix is also something you could consider, like against aggressive decks, this could allow you to actually drop things like Unkiliax a lot quicker. And against lower decks, you could actually consider using this to get a crystal cluster faster. So I can also see a situation where you hold on to this, but it's definitely not a standalone card. You keep this only if you have a very good idea of what you want to be using it early on.
Yeah, I have kept it on the coin without already having a second card to use, but it was a very specific situation. You basically only keep it if you have another card with it. But if I was on the play and I had Trail Mix Flower Child or Trail Mix Vista, I wouldn't keep that unless it's against, again, one of those slower decks where you have the time to wait to play your cluster or whatever. I would only keep it on the coin with a cluster. That's almost the only time you ever keep Trail Mix.
To be honest,
so I'm surprised at how high the cap rate is.
To be honest, turn 3 Summer Flower Child doesn't sound the worst thing in the world to do against an aggro deck, but it's definitely not,
the thing
super optimal.
If you're doing that, it's instead of 2 cards that could be removal spells, and those cards you're drawing off a Flower Child are not going to be useful for the next 4 turns, because you've kept these cards instead of ramp, right? So you're going to play the turn 3 Flower Child, and then you don't have ramp, so even if the Flower Child drew like a Sleep Under the Stars, you actually can't get it down for a while. So it gets kind of awkward because you just run out of cards in the mid game, which you don't want against aggro. So Trail Mix is one of those cards that I think looks better than it is, because it does have that hidden text of -1 card in your hand, right? So I would usually just keep it when you know what you're going to do with it. Like you said, when you have a high roll with cluster, then it makes sense.
Exactly. And same goes for Innervate, kind of like Trail Mix. Hold on to this if you know what you're going to be using it for, because again, it's -1 card for you, just to be able to do something quicker. And if that something quicker is Innervate New Heights on turn 2, if that doesn't allow you to do anything in particularly special on turn 3, maybe it's not such a bright idea still.
Yeah, I've never kept Innovate with a New Heights in mind. The only time I would... Actually, I don't know if I've ever kept Innovate before, because this situation happens very rarely. It has to be your 3 cards have to be a ramp spell, an Innovate, and a Crystal Cluster. And then you full keep that hand. But that's going to happen 1 in every 50 games or something like that. Super rare. Because you also have to... Yeah, exactly.
And depending on the matchup, obviously Rising Wave would be amazing against aggressive decks. Swipe could be amazing against aggressive decks.
Yeah, both of them are the same. You keep them in the same matchups.
Yeah,
always.
same bucket.
You always keep them against Demon Hunter. Always keep them against, I would say Shaman, sure. If you know that you're against an aggro Shaman, if that's the most common Shaman you're facing, then keep Swipe and Waves. And then against, what's the other aggro deck? Oh, Hunter. You always keep Waves and Swipe as well.
Well, I think that's about it for the generally kept cards.
Yeah, those are the only cards you ever keep.
Yeah,
you never keep any of these other cards.
Have to say much about the rest. As for on the coin, the situation is going to be looking similar, but here you definitely need to be thinking about the extra coin, the extra card, and the extra potential for you to be ramping a little bit quicker. Again, obviously we are begging for the New Heights, for the Frost Lotus Seedling. Dollhouse is fine. Malfurion's Gift here, like you said, it is a bit more keepable even with New Heights in hand. Like turn 1.
You can point it out and then...
Yeah. Technically, even turn 1 you could Innervate coin ramp turn 2 new heights, but that's literally your entire hand, so you're probably not gonna be super happy holding on to Innervate like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't keep Innervate in that situation, but if it happened to come into my hand, then yeah, I would sometimes do that. Sometimes I would just wait, like, because you could also go you could have a coin and Innervate in your hand and just wait, and then turn 3 ramp, turn 4 ramp, turn 5 you have 7 mana. Suddenly these coins are allowing you to play your big cards quicker, which is also a use. Like, you can think of a coin as -1 cost on the highest cost card in your hand, or you can just use it early to get your ramp out.
Yeah,
Usually I want to
your...
use it on the cluster, for sure. Usually you want to coin out the cluster.
Yeah, people generalize that basically using a coin to ramp this turn is like having the extra coin forever for the rest of the game, basically, and that's kind of true. But also,
But
if it doesn't allow you to do anything in particular that turn, it's still probably a better idea to keep that bullet in the chamber so you can get that coin later. Because that's just going to happen next turn anyway.
Yeah, you could use New Heights as a permanent coin and then still have the coin in your hand.
Exactly.
Right? And that's just better, especially if, like you said, a lot of the time on turn with 4 mana, we have literally 0 4 mana cards in the deck.
Exactly.
So what are you going to do with 4 mana? Like nothing.
Mana,
especially if you already use the only ramp spell in your hand. So it's definitely one of those cases where it's specific to this deck. Like in Tempo Druid, like the Dragon Druid, you would usually coin out ramp because you have plenty of 4-drops. You've got Chia Drake, you've got Nest Matron, right? You've got 4-drops you want to play. But in this deck, it's actually a different situation. We have no 4-drops, and we really want to use the coin for cluster and for Vista and Flower Child and things like that, right?
Yeah, the coin can definitely patch your turns up quite nicely. It can make things go a lot more smoothly for you. Yeah, indeed. Even with Tempo Dragon Druid back in the day, yeah, again, most of the time you were happy to coin out, but in some certain cases you were still happy to, like, if you literally have a coin, ramp, and fucking Yogg and INR, well, God knows I ain't using the coin to ramp. I'm using the coin to beg for my life to reach those big turns. So, yeah, definitely think about those things. What else? Crystal Cluster here is a lot more keepable. I'm sure Maxi is going to agree. I'm hoping.
You always keep it, except the only time you don't keep Cluster on the coin is against Demon Hunter.
Yeah.
Even against Hunter, I would keep it on the coin. Against Demon Hunter, you don't, but that's literally the only time.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays, Demon Hunter is not even that dominant anymore, so we shouldn't be too afraid of it.
Some people still play it.
Yeah, but some people lose a lot now, don't they? And we also have Mr. Vista here being a lot more keepable as well. Same boat with Summer Flower Child. Obviously, you're not gonna keep all 3. You're gonna choose one and roll with it. You can't really allow yourself to be holding too many expensive cards. You want to actually reach those turns. I'd assume Trail Mix is also a lot more keepable here for you as well.
Yeah, so Trail Mix on the coin is keepable with the cluster. I will say for Flower Child and Vista that I don't think you keep them even on the coin, because if you think about it, they're coming down on the same turn, even with the coin, because you play your ramp spell on turn 3. You would have been able to play Vista or Flower Child on turn 4 anyway, so the coin doesn't really make them more keepable, in my opinion. I think it's still the same thing. If you're on the play or on the coin, you only keep Flower Child or Vista against Death Knight or Warrior or Druid. That's the only times. But yeah, I don't think that changes on play or coin, but Trail Mix and Cluster, those 2 cards work together really well, and especially on the coin, because turn 2 Trail Mix into turn 3 Cluster is an absurd start. Then you're just ahead for the rest of the game, right?
Yeah. Would you say Trail Mix could be keepable even with particularly bad hand, like literally single keep Trail Mix, throw everything else?
I don't think I would ever single keep Trail Mix.
It does definitely seem like a peculiar card like that.
It's just too all in, yeah. Because if you think about it, if you're drawing Cluster, you're happy regardless of Trail Mix on the coin. So Trail Mix just makes your good draw better, which you don't need. Just if your good draw's good, just keep it as good, and make sure that if you get a bad draw, you have an extra card that you can use to maybe mitigate that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's it for keeps, right? Again, yeah, none of these other cards we've already talked
Bottomless
about.
still acceptable, I'd say, in certain cases.
Oh yeah, Bottomless. Yeah, I actually wouldn't keep that on the coin, I should say that. I don't think so, because with the coin with the extra card, I already expect to hit for
If you have 0 ramp already, would you say throw everything, hold out the Bottomless to ensure maybe get some ramp going?
I think the only way I would keep Toy Chest is if I have Seedling, Toy Chest, and no ramp. But if I don't have Seedling, I'm not going to solo keep Toy Chest because I want to find that Seedling.
Interesting. Yeah, but you could make an argument this could find you the Seedling. Yeah, it's still -1 on on the
Yeah,
flourish
that's
turn,
the
but
thing,
it's
is
also extra mulligan phase for you to maybe find that seedling so you can ensure you get it. I don't know, it is a little
Right.
bit peculiar. And
It's a
obviously
tough
we
one.
also
I'm not
have
sure about
the
it.
we obviously also have a bunch of removal you could consider against the faster decks. You should not consider, you should literally keep against the aggro decks. Rising Wave, a lot better here because you are going second, so the opponent did develop their turn 2, their turn 3, and then you get to react to it. And same goes with Swipe. Obviously, with Location, things go massive really nicely for you. Would you consider straight up holding out the Pendant here? Probably not, right?
I don't think I would ever keep Pendant,
Exactly.
no.
Yeah, and I think, again, that's about it for the cards we could consider holding on to. Okay, well, I think we wrapped it up. The deck is not that cheap, not that expensive. It has 5 legendaries. This thing still counts Zeliax as 2 legendaries for reasons unknown to me. It's
One
like
of
we
them's free
said.
as well.
What?
One of them's free because it's Renathal,
Yeah,
right?
Renathal is also for free, and honestly, if you're playing Hearthstone, Zeliax is also already for you. So honestly, the only card you're probably gonna need to craft is Owlonious, because Mista Vista and INR. Well, I guess Mista Vista is also a little bit on the niche end, but if you're enjoying Druid, you definitely have INR already. The deck is not easy. It's far from fundamental Hearthstone, but if you're up for the challenge, if you really want to delve into the fascinating world of combo OTK decks, this is probably the best one you can get your hands on. High skill cap, but also a decent entry level. You can definitely start winning with this before you know half of the things you could be doing with this, and still have a jolly good time while you're learning. That's gonna be for the guide. Thank you very much for that, Maxi. Now we're gonna check out some of the games from my last climb to top 300 legend with this, and we're also gonna discuss one of the games where I actually lost, so we have a better idea of what I actually could have done there to set myself up for success. Okay, another bullshit druid, I'd assume. Okay. Can hold on to all of this ramp, I think. This gives me a bunch of draw. I'm down with that. I guess Scowy, but I've just never been too keen on building myself. I always second guess myself and whatnot. I'd rather just try already somewhat proven decks, somewhat promising decks, emerging stuff. I can tinker with a card or two, but never really been too keen on building from scratch. How's it going, Ruby? It's been a while, brother. How you been? How you doing? Thank you for the follow, Mayor KSC. Could look from now, but I think I'd rather keep the mystery. When you reach top 300 with its Scaly, you can send it over. Let's just put it at that. Really doubt Rogue is gonna work much for me right now on these ranks. Meta looking unplayable as always. Perhaps. Let's try and could draw a bunch with sleep. How many stars? Top 300 legend, bro. What are these stars you speak of? Sounds good, dude. Sounds good. Sag. Oh, this guy's going for the tempo against me, as he should. I could actually go for free damage AoE with Rising Wave right now, ain't nothing wrong with that. Could just draw a couple of times and refresh single. Let's do that. Owlonious, you say? Challenge accepted. Go for it, man. I would love to see it. Get a load of this, bitch. Get a load of this, bitch. If I draw a couple, I will be burning out of the top with Summer Flower after that. Would give me the finale and whatnot, but...
What is the best way?
Guess I don't need the finale as much. I'm gonna grab myself a little bit of extra mana for next turn. Do I actually have some lethal potential for next turn? Not really. Let's go like this still. I could use one of these to make the discounts. Technically speaking, these are not super important to me.
Time is running out.
Feels kind of wrong, but could have gotten lucky, killed a 1-2. Next turn could be Titan, with a bunch of draw maybe. Finish off with Ankyliax if I feel the need to. Sucky thing about INR refreshing next turn is she's not gonna refresh back to 11, she's gonna refresh back to 9. Because the game is silly like that.
I bestow these gifts upon the world. The virtue of the wild.
These were not the best cards to reduce on.
Time is running out.
You piece of shit. You piece of shit. That was lame. That was lame on so many levels. How's it going, Steve? New top 5 should be coming out tomorrow. Did not have enough stats for today. I was hoping we do, but we didn't. Him drawing 3 with -3 still doesn't allow him to do anything too broken. No idea still, Fiverr. Pretty sure Big Spell Mage is still gonna be up there. Other than that, I'm not sure what else is gonna be represented enough. Surely there's gonna be a bunch of Shaman stuff. Well, he dealt with it. Didn't even draw. Okay, a couple of these were broken. A couple of these are broken, but Funnel Cake is also pretty busted. I'm gonna get the funnel, I think.
Interesting.
Okay, we got the copy dudes. Let's put down Renatol. Next turn, more like the turn after. Maybe I should not have used the extra mana for this turn. Next turn made a lot more sense because location would be active for next turn, but double Owlonious is actually pretty broken. With a couple of these for free, basically, I will be able to do as much as I want.
We all exist in harmony.
Do I have it right now? Owlonious would be +8. +8, so these would be 20. It is lethal. Broken ass deck. Broken ass deck. It's just fucking broken. The low charty thing definitely helps, by the way. Low charty thing, glance of an eye. You know, you have +8 with just a couple of Owlonious, 0 extra spell damage. If we had the extra spell damage, it would have been 12. But we didn't need it now, did we? Broken as fuck, boys. Broken as fuck. How's it going, Veit? Even same skin. Double Frost Lotus is cool and all, but if I don't get a little bit of ramp, I'm not sure how hot that is. I'm gonna hold both of them, but I'm pretty sure, not pretty sure, but definitely would be great if we had a little bit of ramp. Can't complain, man, can't complain. Living the dream, living the life. Get a load of this shit. Come on, dude, ramp me. Wouldn't it be funny, as a joke, if I top deck a little bit of ramp right now? Guess he doesn't have his as well, because he's looking for it. Yeah, go get him, Totem, go get him. Still no Blossom for next turn. Turn 4 we get to do it. God damn it. He actually had it all along. Owlonious. Should I waste this Rising Wave right about now? This guy's not gonna tempo me much. I think I'm gonna waste it to make some room because we are gonna be drawing a fair bit soon.
We all exist in harmony.
This could give me a bunch of ramp. I'd rather fan out. Double Life Binder. Now, ain't that the truth? Can I top that Crystal Cluster at least? This hand is actually ready to pop off in a couple of turns if I get somewhat lucky, because with all of the discount I can actually cheat out a ton of mana with this Owlonious. Finally. Still use this turn. Not that hot. Another one. Can play this first. How greedy should I be?
Interesting.
I think I'll play one of these first. Get this hook.
Time is running out.
Next turn I might be able to just straight up kill him, you know? With this funnel kicks. I gotta get lucky with this thing though. That's probably not such a great idea to use a bottomless that turn. Should have just drawn first and then go at a discount. That could have given me a bit better stuff. Only plays a couple of minions, so I can't abuse the funnel to the max. Innervate, no, second funnel. Okay, let's see. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Think we got him. Think we fucking got him, yeah.
This one's a tribute!
Dumbest deck of my life, guys. Dumbest deck of my fucking life, bro. This deck is just stupid, guys. Fuck me, man, that's so dumb. Sheesh. God damn it, son, that was a lethal puzzle for my small noggin. Jesus. Jesus. Imagine winning that one. We were so fucked up there, guys. We were so fucked up until we weren't. Think I could have done it a bit better that last turn. Thank you for the follow, Minimal Michimol. How's it going, beer now? Happy to have you, man. Happy to have you. God damn it, son, that was lame. What an absolute bullshit deck this is. Should I still try for a little bit of ramp? This is the worst kind of ramp, but still ramp. Okay, we'll get the card draw. Damn, this deck makes my head hurt. Yeah, kinda knocks, kinda. Hate decks like that. Hearthstone is about playing one card and clicking on the fucking board trying to get a boot, which we honestly can't get no more, by the way. Oh well, you can't get anything anymore. God damn, the fucking Rex can ruin everything for everybody. Gotta love it, gotta love it. I think I'm gonna try to just curve out a bit better. Out of these, location probably sparks the most amount of joy.
Audio processing.
Yeah, for sure, dude, for sure.
A limited time offer.
No innervate, rigged. Next turn I'm ramping, so let's just put the location out.
Don't use your head. Use mine.
Problem is that can be a counter spell, bro. That can literally be a fucking counter spell right about now. And it's not. Lame. Let me get the summer flower. Okay, let's go ahead and do this thing then.
Turn down that racket.
That's a bummer. And I guess I'm just gonna use summer flower then. -3. Did he forget to attack?
We all exist in harmony.
I'm slapping there so he has one extra bad thing to get out of Khadgar. Could have ignored completely because we're not gonna win through minion damage. Oh, for sure, Birno. Of course. Well, this time I get the hero power into it first. Could actually just use some of this. And draw a couple with this. Could actually do it with the 7 instead. Yeah, I can't draw 2, refresh twice, played up 6 mana even. Innervate, you say? Problem is I'm not even ramping much this time because we don't have new heights in, but it's gonna summon a single idiot, so it's something.
Time is running out.
But yeah, that random secret out of him was definitely pretty shit for me. Order, daddy. Okay, I can flood the board with Titan, a bunch of free 7s.
I bestow these gifts upon the world. The virtue
How can I make a little bit of room? Drop Renafall.
The time has come to dethrone our former master.
Should have played Innervate first, that would allow me to draw a couple of more. But I guess I'm just gonna ramp here instead. I'd rather summon the idiots first, I think. How much damage can I dish out? I don't have any copy. I do have a little bit of spell damage though.
Running out.
So next turn, that would be 4. I'm actually gonna do it like this. I do have potential lethal for next turn. With all of these Seabreeze Chalices, if he just clears this board, that's gonna be an empty board with +4. God damn. I mean, that's not that good for him. Doesn't have the refresh. Okay, right now we have 2 drinks, 3 drinks. That's gonna be only with +4, so it's gonna be 5 damage a pop. Nowhere near enough. Nowhere near enough, guys. Is this the first time anybody uses this to get random stuff? So lame, but the hand's kind of lame. Wow. Horrible. Okay. I'm gonna take it like a man. This basically replaces his armor. I have exactly 8, so that did nothing. Just gives him a chance to get another armor though. Tsunami's not that bad. Random flame strike, you say? Funny. Funny how. Lame top deck is lame. Bottomless toy chest would help. Thank you for the follow, Metal. Hero Power Druid? I don't think it is. Cover Artist is cool and all. If I used... Hold up. That's actually a lot. 12 damage a pop. That's GG. Hold up. I can do it 13 damage technically, so yeah, it's the goodest of games. It's actually 14. Come on, dude, show yourself. Spit on that thing. Get a load of this bullshit. Exacties. Yeah, it's quite the broken deck, guys. It's quite the broken deck, but you gotta be somewhat broken yourself to be playing it in it. Sucks to be that guy. Love to see it. I ain't keeping none of this. Innervate could be a keep if I had something to look forward to, but... Okay, new heights and to sleep. Love to see that. New heights on 3. Trail on 4. Sleep after that. Draw done. Get things done. Okay, even more card draw. Great. Roar. I am doo-doo, hear me roar.
I smell golden in
Oh, he's gonna draw a bunch. Next turn might be Trail Mix into Prince Renifal. I don't think I want the Frost Lotus, because next turn I can draw a lot with the Sleep Under. Well, so much for that. I mean, in this case, New Heights just does it better for me, don't it? Can draw 2 times next turn. Refresh once, maybe swipe. Worst case, Renethal. New top 5 is coming out tomorrow, cause we still don't have enough stats to do a new top 5, so this is the playlist with the old top 5 at the top. Anybody know if I can make this command actually show the latest top 5 from the playlist? Because it kind of shows one in the middle and it's misleading some people. Some people don't realize it's a playlist with all of my top 5s. God damn, this guy can fuck off. Could you not? Go with this perhaps. There was my swipe. Second cover art is a little bit too much. I'm gonna get myself a bunch of mana. Wait till I have 10 mana next turn. Breakfast Hunter? I did play somebody on now, didn't I? Yeah, no problem, man. Hey, this guy's tempoing on me. I do not appreciate. Of course it's gonna go with the random secret, bro. Why else would it do it? God damn this bullshit. Can start off with a swipe on the 1-2, but I'd rather go like this. Okay. I don't need the refresh even, I can just Rising Waves that. But if I re-rush, I can also drop Prince Renethal, ain't nothing wrong with that. Summerflower, Owlonious, Pendants. More draw, spell damage would be lovely with this thing. Tsunami's operational for him for next turn. Sure. That ain't bad. There's the Owly boy. There's the Owly boy. So next turn I could do the nasty on him. Trail Mix allows me to do plenty. So yeah, next turn I am gonna have 12 mana. I'm also gonna have Funnel Cake to do it on his water alleys if he chose that path. I will not be able to play the second cover artist. Let's just hope he doesn't get a random counter spell again, you know? Would be a damn shame. Okay, so right now I'm gonna have 2 Owloniouses, no spell damage, so that would be plus 8 damage. Okay, that's massive.
This one's a tribute!
It's actually not massive enough. I botched it.
I know my strength.
I botched it. Was there a better way to do that? No, I haven't, Sander. I've seen it though. Don't really like the playstyle. If the 6/6 lives, I can fucking do it again, but odds are not very high now, are they? A man can dream. Was there ever lethal there though? I don't think there was. I kinda had to do what I did, didn't I? Fuck. 3 damage or 2 damage is enough. I do have Special Magic Dollhouse, but no, he's at 16 health, it's way too much. Doesn't get it. Does not get it. Does not get it, guys. Fuck, that was bad. Imagine.
This one's a tribute!
Don't matter. That was stupid as hell. I'm not sure I could have played it much better last turn though. I could have done the what's it called? The Sparkling Vial before the 4 mana. That would have been 1 less mana, but it also would have been less damage. I would have been able to fit 1 Chalice there, but that wouldn't have done much. Yeah, that was pretty unlucky for him. Like, imagine his potion guy dodging the 2 damage and the 3 damage at the same time on both the rules. There are 7, or I think 8 options in it, so it's kind of 50-50, but still. I might repeat myself, but guys, I'm still not partner over here at Twitch. All we need to do is keep consistently above 75 viewers for a month or 2, and I get to apply to Twitch and ask for partnership again. Would be awesome if we make this dream come true happen. I will need your help though. Your help would be of the most great importance. I can try like this, I think. How's it going, DW and Dragon as well? Happy to have ya. Yeah, thanks a lot, Azer. Even just lurking will be helping big time. Not like Renatol though. Nobody helps as much as Renatol does.
I see you brought guests.
I don't think I'm discounting this turn. It's not the best hand to discount on. This guy could be the breakfast nonsense as well. Probably is. Innervate, you say? I don't have much to do anytime soon, but I'd rather do it right now. Who made that deck? No idea who made the rogue deck. This one is from Maxiebon though. That's not bad. If he gets a free drop, I'll give him a free drop. Doesn't get a free drop. God damn it. We're top decking nonsense here, dudes. Got a couple of nature spells. We'll fucking do it again. Well, this is somewhat playable. If he has his death rattle shit, he could do it on this thing. Could just do it a turn after on that thing, though. I'll ignore it for now, I think. Okay, doesn't activate it, so that's nice. Okay, should I just get this thing? Or should I try my luck with this thing? Chipping away at this guy just is gonna give him a good Hollow Hound opportunity sooner rather than later. We'll try with this. That's shit. That's lame. That's real lame.
His reign ends now.
That could have been useful. Could have been worse. Not by much, but it could have.
His reign ends now.
Shout it from the mountaintop!
Lame. Who are you talking to, Scowy? With this thing, I could get some stuff. This guy's almost dead, bro. This guy's literally almost dead. This guy's legit 2 off fucking lethal and I don't have a speck of damage to my fucking name, bro. Not a speck of damage. This thing could give me Wind Fury, you know? It didn't. I'm gonna use this right now. I don't have 3 turns. That helps a little. I literally couldn't get a speck of damage there, yo. Sandera's talking about Shafar Rogue, so I don't know about that. Thank you for a follow, Sleepy, and Zeratul Official. That name sounds familiar. Welcome, welcome, Zeratul. Okay, gets a bit of healing there. The booger. For real, bro.
What is the best way?
I beg for the card draw. I am a demon for the card draw, guys. What's Maxi? Maxiebon is the world champion of Hearthstone, brother. Happy to have you, Sleepy. Welcome to the stream. Maxi is this deck. Summer Flower Child, Sleep Under the Stars would be actually best. Bottomless Toy Chest, Pendant of Earth, INR, not this shit, bro, not this shit. Get a load of this shit. I feel like I need to do something literally next turn, so I'm gonna use one of these. It's probably gonna be an absolute waste, but it allows me to do some broken shit if I top deck some broken shit. Do I like Nickelback? I've heard of Nickelback. I have looked at that photograph, if that's what you're asking. If that's what you're referring to. I have seen that photograph, as many have before me. I am from Bulgaria, if you're asking me, Loki. Bulgaria's my area. Broken top deck off the top, please. Titan me, dude. Sleep Under the Stars me, dude. Dude me, dude. If I get straight up Owlonious, that don't do much. Fucking Series Chalice, bro. If I spell damage Swipe, swipe. Hold up, hold up, hold up. 8, 11, this thing. That's fucking lethal, man.
I know my strength. I know my strength.
Who needs bloody Owlonious anyway, bro? Who needs his fucking cards anyway, bro? Like, fuck this game, dude. Sheesh! God damn it, Chief. Had to bend over backwards for that one. Was it for the 2-handy? Do I have a 2 to my name? The fuck I do. The fuck I do. Damn it. Told you I can do broken things if I actually get myself a little bit of extra mana there. I literally played that deck at the beginning of the stream, Nox. We literally did quite well with that Breakfast Hunter at the start of the stream for the first 90 minutes. Okay, this looks a lot better than what we had.
Yeah, so here I would keep toy chest because you have ramp. So you want to find cluster.
I'm nervous, man. Draw around the corner. Hold like that. Idiots! Why the fuck did I keep sleep under the stars, bro? I literally have no idea what I did there. I'm not even joking. I would never hold on to sleep under the stars. What happened there, bro? Did I think it's Crystal Cluster? Ruby. This is the new Maxi Druid. Don't remember what the old one was, but this is the future is now,
Okay,
old man.
Seedling. This hand looks pretty good. Let's see what happens.
Alright.
Something has to go wrong here.
Yeah, how the fuck did I fuck it up? Well, what went wrong is the opponent amped up the hand buff really fast and I couldn't stabilize.
Yeah, this deck doesn't have hard removal, right? That's the thing. We only have damage-based removal, so that kind of thing can get out of control. That's why in these kind of matchups, it's important to choose your strategy, and a lot of the time it's just ignore the board. Because we know that we're not going to be able to keep the board under control for a long enough time, so it's better to just try and race them, because that's what we do best, is just kill really fast, right?
Oh, wow. I mean, are you talking about the Sea Breeze Chalice Druids? With the... what's his face?
Yeah, I think I would
this have been good to discount?
Yeah, so here... No. So what I would have done, because I want to save the discount for after you play Seedling, I would go Toy Chest, and then Ramp, and then Seedling, and then Reduce on turn... because I think that curve makes sense, and any mana that you're spending on cards that you could reduce is basically wasted mana, because you could have just used the reduction later on and then played those cards. Especially because we're going to be drawing so many cards, so these toy chests are probably going to be able to get a copy if we hold them, right?
That's why I think here Live Binders actually made a bit of sense as well, though. Like, definitely coining was the worst. Definitely coining here Ramp was the worst out of the bunch.
The reason I wouldn't Lifebinder is because by holding onto the Lifebinder, by going Chest, and then New Heights, and then Seedling, we see an extra 3 cards. So we're basically 3 mana by holding onto the Lifebinder's gift in the long run. And there's nothing we need to reduce right now, like there's no cluster or anything that we want to get down immediately. So I think that curve of just Chest, Ramp, and then Seedling Gift makes the most sense from what I can see.
Okay. I can do a bit of discount and such.
Because here you want to go double Toy Chest next turn and then draw plus Gift. Because ideally you always want to gift after you play the Seedling.
This hand buff value in this economy? Really?
Unless you find cluster off of chest, then you just gift immediately.
I'm gonna discount this.
Yeah, so I wouldn't start with discount because you want to see if you find cluster. That's what I would go for. Or Vista.
Yeah, I'm botching the shit out of this one. Could get Vista here.
Well, that's the thing, is that like even like your players still have an idea, so you can still win these games. It's just like if you play it perfectly, you get a little bit of an extra edge, right? It just gains a little bit of percent for each tiny thing, and that's the thing with these these kind of decks. It's just a lot of small decisions. So at the end of the day, you'll just gain a little bit of percent for each tiny decision, and then it adds up.
You basically snowball leads after leads if you actually keep on doing the right choices. And here, I actually still came close to stabilizing, but a little bit too many
This
bad
is
bad
insane,
decisions.
yeah.
Yeah. At
Yeah.
least I was on the same page here.
Drawing a lot. Damn shame of the overdrive, Oli boy.
This looks pretty good. So here, I would actually use the sleep just to gain armor. I wouldn't play it I wouldn't play it on turn 6.
Definitely believe I didn't go for that line. But yeah, let's see what we did.
We'll see what we do.
Yeah, and this guy was hard running fucking Relentless Warg, man. Like, throw me off curve, for real, for real.
It's actually kind of good here.
It was
This
insane.
guy's hard running the Warg? Who the fuck does that? This guy Highlander or some shit?
Okay.
So waves doesn't clear. I mean, yeah, we can just ignore. We can board block them because their hand is
Yeah, but
yeah. So yeah, exactly. So I don't want to draw. I don't want to draw because the Vista is gonna now mill us unless because we want to draw with this Blossom anyway.
Yeah.
And
I
also
think I
by
actually
holding
ended
it,
up
you
never
give us
using the
enough chance.
Blossom because I fucking cock blocked my hand so bad, and that cost me a lot of extra health.
Exactly. Because you can expect Sleep on average to draw about 2 cards.
Yeah.
And then with the
Go
Blossom,
this
that's
twice.
4. If you play Malfurion's Gift, that's another card. If you put Lifebinder's Gift into the Vista, that can draw you another 2 cards. So you need to be really careful. Yeah, like with this, look how many cards you're adding to your hand, right?
Exactly. And I picked the fucking
Oh,
expensive
that's
shit
so
like
many
that.
cards. It's so many cards. Yeah, it just gets awkward,
Yeah, a
right?
couple
Innovate
spot
here.
things.
Innovate.
The fuck I will.
Okay, yeah, okay, I can see, yeah, I can see,
done something.
like, your
Yeah.
thought process made sense where you know what you want to go for, and this is tunnel visioning, right? Like, you see,
Exactly,
okay, this
exactly.
line makes sense, I want to find File in Owlonious, but in this position, you gotta identify the win condition, and the win condition is Vista, Blossom, and Sleep, and the Vista gains you about 30 health. By
Yeah,
that
this is
point, you have
basically,
so much time, right?
This is basically me before we talk and me after we talk. Like, I'm literally not
Now you
going
see,
for the
yeah.
game plan, which is to cheat out my own stuff, board lock him on the board so he just claps me for like about a 10, 12 per turn. Whereas instead I actually tried to fight for the board, deny him that extra card draw, and actually open him up for him to play bigger, better man later in the process.
But yeah, when I was playing the 30 card
Yeah, and look
Druid,
at
I
this
had a
shit.
lot of games like this where the Vista just
Yeah,
it's
this
so
guy's
tough.
pushing
And this is
my
why we don't run
Furin.
2 Flower Child, right? Because in these positions, Flower Child can get a bit awkward. You kind of need to have it on turn 5, and other than that, you don't really want it. So you don't want to have them clunking your deck, right?
Yeah, okay. As you see, I've already botched the shit out of this game.
Hmm.
This was a pretty tough turn for me. I think I still figured out something not too boneheads. I actually managed to stabilize because we did see a turn 10. But yeah, what do you think we do here?
I would definitely start with Blossom and go from there for sure.
The fuck I would.
Because after Blossom, usually what I would do is go file the Ziliax, and then file face, and then swipe the Ziliax. And then next turn, our first card costs 6 less. So we can just drop a Flower Child, and then start playing ENR and Ziliax.
Yeah, see, I was totally sleeping on this
against
fact.
Ziliax, right?
I was actually
Yeah,
totally
you-
sleeping
I
on
don't know
this discount that the file gives. I was entirely missing that whole point of the card on the Mr. Vista
Yeah,
turn.
these are the things, like, there's so many small things like those file discounts where not that many games is this file discount thing going to come into play. But if you know all of these little tricks, every game at least a couple of these tricks are going to come into play. And when you know them,
Exactly.
it's a big deal, right? Like here,
Yeah.
if you go file, swipe, and Blossom, you're on 30 health. All he's dealing is like, what, 18 on board. And then your Vista triggers, that's going to gain you on average another 15. 3 files. First card you play costs 0. You've stabilized. You've won the game. But, I mean, let's see what you actually do. I mean, you managed to survive, right? So.
Yeah, I managed. Here I was actually also considering doing some the 1 mana funnel cake. The problem was that the frickin' warg was not over healing.
Yeah,
so,
funnel cake only is an innovate here. It only gives you 1 mana because you have to target
exactly.
the
So it was kind of wonky, but I'm pretty sure I did not go for the armor game, which was pretty bonehead indeed. I guess I was tunnel visioning, knowing that I already fucked it up with the 7 mana sleep into the Mr. Vista. I was afraid of burning more.
Yeah, I think you're overvaluing milling cards, because if you think about it, milling a card is only important if you would have drawn that card anyway. So the only cards we care about milling are like minions.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of hard to explain I'm sure you already understand, but like
Yeah.
to a viewer, how milling cards is actually not a big deal.
Yeah,
like
I
if you have
always
a 30
explain
card
it. You
deck,
just pretend you never drew it. It was at the bottom of the deck. So
exactly,
what?
exactly. Unless you're going to draw the
Yeah.
entire deck, or you have some sort of tutor effect like Pendant, milling literally doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
So like
that's,
here,
that's the thing
if
though
we're gaining
about
another
this
20
deck.
health,
We have plenty of tethering, so it's not exactly
Yeah,
like that. And
exactly,
Owlonious
yeah.
definitely is super important, but yeah.
But I think in this matchup, Owlonious is actually not your prime win condition. Your
Mm.
prime win condition is Ziliax. Because once you drop Ziliax, they have to spend around like 2 turns dealing with it, and then
Yeah.
ENR cover artist concede. Because they can't kill the ENR. They have no AoE in the entire deck. So ENR cover artist, they have no way to kill it. If they have no minions on board, and you play ENR cover artist, they can't kill it, they concede. So you actually
Exactly.
don't... Like, of course, you'll win with the Owl eventually, like 10 turns down. But like it doesn't matter because your primary goal is to get the Ziliax and the ENR down. And so at this point, all you want to do is like make sure you can do that. And also like even if we mill Owl, we can still deal 30 from hand. Like think about it. 2 locations and like 1 chalice with 2 locations does 12 damage, right? 4. 2 chalices with 2 locations is 24 damage. And then a swipe. That's lethal.
Yeah,
So
that'd be true against
the Owl
most
just
decks.
makes it need less cards. Exactly. And Paladin only has 30 health here. So even if you mill the Owlonious, as long as you stabilize on board, give yourself enough time, you will be able to kill eventually. So for now, we just want to do whatever keeps us alive instead of trying to think about the next few turns down the road. We just want to survive because we know that in the long game we will win this game against Paladin, right?
Okay, let's see what Bonehead Kris did here. He literally has lethal for next turn this way. One turn left. I'm gonna overdraw my sweet little ass off, aren't I? I'm gonna have to do some nonsense. Tension's killing me.
What do we do if we don't play the Seedling? I don't see another player.
I just did something but worse. I'm pretty sure I went with file swipe. That's fucky.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
real
okay.
fucky. Okay, I'm better than I thought.
Those are not good draws. Oh my god.
No, they are not. They were good burns though.
You have to play the funnel kick here for hand space.
The fuck I will.
Because now you have what? How many cards in hand? 6. So you're almost guaranteed milling. I don't remember exactly what's in there, but there's a blossom and there's a sleep, which means you're guaranteed
It's on the right side. I think
basically
you actually
milling
see
a little
it.
bit.
Chat's actually not see.
Let's see if the
Viewers are actually not seeing it because our faces are all over the place. But
my
still,
ass off. It all comes down to the choose 3 card not going for
I
draw
can't
a bunch of times.
Wait, where does it say what's in the Vista? I can't see it.
oh, the Vista. Oh no,
Yeah,
no,
I'm just
not the
thinking what's
Vista.
in the
I'm
Vista.
talking about
Oh,
the
okay,
deck.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the deck, right.
Yeah.
But I also did use the draw 2 to discover.
I'm just thinking what the Vista plays,
really
but I
hope
know
it
there's a
doesn't
sleep and
draw at all, 'cause
a
I'm
blossom.
burning
I don't
one
think there's
as
any other
is.
draw.
Yeah, there wasn't.
Why didn't
Okay.
you go for the Zilly there?
So yeah, you're fine. You're probably not milling Owl here. The chance you mill Owl is quite low. Oh, yeah, okay.
It was massive.
It's not a bad Vista.
Refresh, nice.
Oh.
Yeah, that was
okay,
nuts.
I'm not even burning anything.
Oh yeah, toy
Oh, I am
chest was the
burning.
draw.
Okay, yeah, there were 2 toy chests in there. Okay, so there's a bit of mill.
Not on my face, please.
Couple of toy chesticles.
Okay, there's a pendant.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
I think this is still a winnable position.
Okay.
It was, but I botched it, didn't I?
I have quite the discount right now.
What do I
Sadly, I
wanna
won't
do
be able to
here?
use it that much. I guess I'm gonna start with this.
I think out of the lot I have here, that's probably best, right?
Yeah,
At least
because
it's
you can't
somewhat
start with Flower
expensive.
Child.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with starting with Pendant.
Owlony boy.
I think you definitely take Ziliax here, and
I think
then
I went with Owlonious
wanna
because I felt
use-
like I
Don't
might
go
actually
for
have
next
enough
turn.
damage out of this.
Yeah, I think that's the tunnel visioning where
Could be the
you're looking
truth.
for those lethal lines when lethal isn't the only way you win this game. Winning on board is the way you win, right? So what I would do is I would grab the Ziliax, and then I would try to end the turn with a Flower Child so that you can play ENR as well, because it'll cost 9. So I would grab the Ziliax, and then I would go click and swipe, and then just maybe I probably wouldn't play File. I think I would just play the Flower Shot and Mill. I don't think I would care about the Mill.
Mhm.
And I think that will put you in a position where you're ahead on board and you have a 9-mana Ziliax and a 9-mana ENR in hand, and that's good enough to win basically from there.
Yeah. I don't die here, do I? Yeah,
Yeah, so you're trying to set up lethal here.
I just
so you're playing the
started.
Flower Shot.
I literally just went for the other game plan where I try to actually kill him instead of just stabilizing.
Okay.
Because we do indeed have quite a good amount of stuff in here, but we actually used a lot of the damage though.
Another buffer.
Yeah, you don't have a sleep, and you don't have
we
Chalice.
don't have a way to
And
get
without
cheat out of
Chalice,
mana.
Have a little bit of extra
because
time.
the thing is, the way I count burn spells in hand is File doesn't count as a burn spell, because what I'm using File for is to cheat out my cards. So the only burn spell we actually have in hand right now is Swipe. And with 2 Owlonious, 1 burn spell is not going to deal 30 damage. So with this hand,
right now,
the only way you kill is top
Go
decking.
like this.
You have to top deck
honestly,
the burn
I
spell, but
think here what I should have done is just use a fucking cover artist and do some work on work violence. Think that would have been a lot better.
Play. That's an interesting play. I would just go click, and even after taking Owl, I would still just go click the location, swipe, and then Flower Child, and take the mill, because I want to find a board clear here, I think.
Yeah, but right
if
now
you're assuming
you're
that
kinda...
Owl is how you win.
Yeah, right now you're kinda going in the way of, if we didn't fuck up, now we're trying to unfuck it up. So you see how those two lines are actually totally fighting with each other. So
okay, so if we assume that Owl is how we win the game, then I think I would still play the Flower Child to look for Sleep, because I think you need Sleep to win this. But then you, okay, I like the cover artist play then. Yeah, if we're assuming that Owl is how we win.
I think it would have been put down location, cover artist kills them both, and maybe we put down Prince on the board just so we have some shit on the board. And next turn we could have actually done some Owlonious file location, both locations, Owlonious, cover artist for 0 after the file, and that maybe could have allowed us the cover artist again plus swipe. I'm not sure if the math is really correct there, but that's the mindset I was in, kinda.
Yeah.
Well, not really, because I didn't even do the cover artist.
But I'd rather...
The reason you want to play cover artist is just to gain time, because that's all it is. It's like you just need time, because this deck, the kill costs so much mana if you really think about it.
It really does.
Right? Yeah.
But
so
yeah, I think this was a pretty bonehead move. Oh, I still did the play. Okay.
He did the play. I would have done okay.
Okay. But no, I don't know.
Ziliax. I mean, Ziliax buys you like so much time.
Spec of damage right now.
We did want a single turn with Unkiliax there, but he just rammed the shit out of it with Tigris's.
Such a bullshit game.
Well, yeah, let's see if he actually had to use it, because there's some situations where
game so far now, wasn't it?
Hold it.
That's kind of bullshit too.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he just left it like that.
Be using that.
Oh, you milled Chalice. That's so sad.
Yeah, I think I still top deck the Chalice after that though.
Does the dirty for me.
I don't think. Oh, yeah, you did. Didn't. Oh, did you? I actually don't remember.
We are gonna have a Chalice next year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Still think this was the play here,
but
right?
you don't have sleep. I see. Yeah, you have to do this.
Don't. Yeah, this was actually the game where I was talking about Crystal Cluster being fucky, because it does say 10 out of 10, but I was actually already under New Heights. And here's the frickin' Tigris plushies.
Oh, double plushie.
Triple.
He's quite the chatter, isn't he? Okay. This guy, again, is pushing in my stool. I got damage, yo.
Yeah, if you had the swipe here, then you kill.
Yeah, if literally I went with the cover artist there, but then again, that we still actually made the Unkiliax play to get to here. So yeah, here you already actually noticed what I could have done. I ended up doing something basically next to concede kind of deal. You already saw what I was supposed to do. Let's might as well show what I fucked up at the end. I don't think I did anything at the end. Anything worth noting. Literally that on board kind of deal, because Sandcastle has like plus 11, I think.
Right now.
Plus 10, right? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think I just ended up playing the Crystal Cluster, see if it's really fucky like that.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought during the turn that I'm just gonna do this to try and see if it really is like that. But it's super dumb, man. Like it literally says 10 while it's actually out of 13. And then it actually did update, as you can see. They do have the technology to show 13 there, but the thing was literally showing 10 out of 10 like a fucking idiot. Totally baity like that.
Sandcastle kills me.
But yeah, like you said, here there was a play. You can go for it.
Yeah, so I would Owl and then Funnel Cake their minions, use both locations, and then go File, Cover Artist. The File does 8 damage, so they're on 22 health. And then you play 2 Chalices, which is a total of 36 damage. Which means that you had to... If 4 of those shots didn't hit minions, then it's lethal, and otherwise it clears the board and puts your opponent down to 4 health. Which is enough of a good position where maybe you can come back from that point with a top deck ENR. So I think that is the play that gives you an out. I don't know if it puts you in a winning position necessarily, because they have Sandcastle with
exactly.
Plushie,
Plus Tigris Plushie in hand, so that's like plus 12 straight up.
Yeah.
So we know that the Owlonious dies there for sure. Like literally Owlonious plus the copy both died to Sandcastle plus the Plushie. But yeah, it was better than not dying to death, and it literally also gave us a statistical chance of actually winning straight up. We have seen crazier things happen in the game. But yeah, I guess that was indeed the winning line. But I think I really screwed the pooch on... as you can see, if we actually went for Zilly here, see how the game still would have been pretty shitty with both of those Tigris plushies. Zilly would not have actually bought us a whole lot of turn. Definitely
well,
would have
actually, so
stabilized
if you
a wee
went
bit.
for the... Sorry.
Yeah?
If you went for the Ziliax with the pendant, then the Flower Child would have drawn Owlonious instead, right? They would have swapped. So your Owl would have actually cost 6 here. And if your Owl costs 6, it's lethal. So it actually would have won the game. Because your Owl would have cost 6, and then you would have an extra 1 mana for your 3rd Chalice, which would have killed. So I think that line also wins the game, just in a weird way, where it swaps the discount. Which is why I wanted to take the Ziliax, because we know that next turn we want to play Ziliax, which is our 9 mana turn. So any other card that we discount is better than discounting Ziliax, because then we're floating a mana if we discount the Ziliax, right? If that makes sense.
Yeah, so this is where we really screwed the pooch, and also the turn where I coined ramp, the turn where I discounted nothing, that kind of deal really botched it. But yeah, still actually almost came in with a win on that one. And this was the other very interesting game. I don't know if it's really worth showing, but it did end up being a win in a super weird way. Like it was such a stupid game altogether.
But
I was begging for card draw the entire time, literally nothing but ramp. Like look at that shit, nothing but ramp, 0 card draws, everything's left in the deck, and this hunter is...
I've heard of Nickelback.
At least he didn't push me too hard, like he also didn't do all that much, but...
Dude, fucking Series Chalice, bro.
Yeah, this is the lethal turn.
Yeah, this is lethal, yeah.
If I spell that,
So there's actually a way, I
swipe.
assume... We'll see. I think you probably miss 1 damage here, because... Wait. 8,
No, it's...
11...
Hold up.
It's lethal either way, but what you can do... Actually, never mind. No, my line's the exact same amount of damage. Sorry, I was thinking you don't click the location for the first swipe. That way,
no,
you
I
keep
think
the
you
aggro
do.
on 4 health.
You do, because
You
you
do,
actually
yeah.
get the
It's the
swipe
same.
and still
fucking
Rising Wave
lethal,
does
man.
deal with Titan afterwards.
Yeah. It's lethal either way.
You double swipe and then do the Rising Wave.
Nice. And yeah, this is what I'm saying where like you don't need the Owl, right? Like you still deal a lot of damage just with location and Chalice.
Yeah, and this was such a messy...
Who needs bloody
such a messy
Owlonious
game.
anyway, bro? Who needs his fucking cards anyway, bro? Like, fuck this
And
game,
the
dude.
kind of lucky genius thing I did in this game, let's not pat myself on the back too hard here, but the turn before is where the magic happens.
Literally next.
Oh, you dropped a trail mix.
I fucking did.
Do something
Yeah.
literally next to somebody use one of these. Probably gonna
Literally got myself leaving with that crap.
It allows me to do something.
I stream
yeah.
sniped my stream into the future, man. Dirty stream
Real?
sniper confirmed. Fucking hell. But yeah, just goes to show the deck really has a very high skill cap, but it's actually very, very forgiving. A lot of people can actually give this one a try, and they are gonna experience Hearthstone like never before, because it really is something totally different. Okay, I think it's safe to say this turned out into a fucking 2-hour long guide, an absolute unit of a deck guide, the longest on my channel by far. Like, I rarely go above 10 minutes for a guide. This is gonna be hands down 45 minutes minimum. And with the games and everything, it will be huge. Definitely did not envision to be doing this long, but definitely was super fun, super helpful, man. Really appreciate your time. Really appreciate what you're doing here for the community, for my community in particular. And yeah, like I said, if you guys want to check out Maxi, you can do so. Head over down to his Twitch stream. He streams every day, 4 p.m. you said, after school, Aussie time. So
yeah.
Go ahead and check some of that world-class wild and mainly standard. Well, not mainly. I think you're just as wild as standard. Yes. You just happen to be the standard champion, you know? No biggie.
Basically, right now, what I'm doing is I'm just playing standard until I hit rank 1, and then I'm playing wild. Because
as all
when I'm rank
do.
1, I don't want to...
Yeah, just the usual. Yeah, but you only stream on NA, by the way, or do you dabble in some Europe?
So it depends. I mean, NA is my main. If it's a qualifying season, then I'll play other servers to make sure that I have multiple chances of qualifying. But right now, I don't need to, so I'm basically just on NA, yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, at least I will not get my ass whooped by you, I guess. Not for now, I'm safe. Alrighty, man. Well, again, really huge thanks. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's going to be it for this one. It was quite a long one, but if you guys want to learn this deck, there is no better place to do so on the internet right now. I can tell you that much. Second best place would be to hop on over and check out Maxi live, slapping with it. Thanks again for watching. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and check out Maxi for sure. Thanks again, guys. I'm Kris 5, and I'll see you in my next video or stream. Bye, dudes.